We'll adjust. So how many of you guys are doing the 30-day challenge? That's what we're here to talk about today. So this stream is actually for people in the 30-day challenge. If you're not in it, get in it. If you don't want to get in it, that's okay. But you're going to seriously miss out if you don't jump on this train. So definitely get in the 30-day challenge. It's 30days.bryantchambers.com. It's all free. This isn't a money game. This is a working to help people change their lives game. All right. Let's let the YouTube folks know. Jab says, I'm in. Excellent, man. Glad to have you in there. Let's see who else is here. Yaquilin says, hello, everyone. What's up, Yaquilin? Yaquilin. Snickle Fritz is in the house just saying, what's up? Got to do some things around the house. Hope your day is going good. My day is outstanding. Any day above ground is a win, brother. Everything else is icing on the cake. Jacob Joshua Steph says, sup. What's up, JJ Steph? Michelle Warren says, evening. Good evening, Michelle. Good to see you. Yeah, so let's talk about it. I'm really here for you guys. How's the 30-day challenge going so far? Uh, what are the profound things that what's the important takeaways you've had so far wherever you are in the program, because everyone's in on a different day, right? Like I started over so I could start with the bulk of the group, so I'm on day 2 right now and I've completed my day 2 tasks. So I'll go on to day 3 tomorrow, which is where most of the audience is. There's a couple people already on day 3 today. Um, so they'll be on day 4. Also, if you're on day 3 of the challenge, and this is for YouTube and for the folks on TikTok, day 3 was sending out the wrong email. I caught it because somebody emailed me and said, hey, bro, this sent out the same challenge as yesterday. And I said, great catch, right? This is why you always launch before you're ready. You're going to make mistakes, so trying to fix all your mistakes before you launch is going to hold you up too long. You know, there's one thing in combat. General Patton, I believe, is the person who coined the phrase that a good enough plan on time is good enough, is better than a perfect plan late, right? Hey, Caitlin, good to see you. So, if you got an email for day 3 today and it was before, I don't know if it happened before 2 p.m., maybe 3 p.m., you got the wrong link. I fixed it in the system, but I also posted the right link in our Facebook group so that you could go to the day 3 challenge. Day 2 is particularly it. Day 2 seems particularly long because you click on the video and it's like, Jesus, this video is 3 hours long. You don't need to watch all 3 hours of the video. I mean, you can skip the story in the beginning, which takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to get through explaining what we're doing. If you just want to get right to the meat of it, you can go to when I start talking about the 5 pillars of self-awareness or the 5 pillars of destiny, depending on which, one of my programs you got to it through. It's all the same thing. But you can go through the 5 pillars in less than an hour. Go take the test. Both tests will take you all of 15 minutes total to do both of them. 15 minutes total to do both tests, and then post your results in the Facebook group. All right. So, but for those of you who are on day 3, if you got it before, right around before 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, you got the wrong assignment. You got sent day 2's assignment. So I fixed it. And I'll be looking out for mistakes like that in the future to make sure you guys are squared away. I see Cosplay made it. What's up, lady? Tiana, my sweet, is here. Victorino Reyes says, were you in the army? I was. Just call me Jacob, man. Okay, no worries, Jacob. Hi, hi. Says, okay, so I'm here for you guys. What are your questions? YouTube's probably wondering what in the hell I'm talking about, but that's okay. We started a 30-day challenge over on TikTok, which, by the way, guys, if you're not following a brother on TikTok, what are you doing with your life? I'm going to post a link. Actually, that link's not going to help you. Just go to TikTok and look up this guy. All right, we'll wait for my laptop to stop sucking so that'll actually. There we go. So look me up. Bryant Chambers Speaks on TikTok. So on TikTok, I started a 30-day challenge. because I've been doing these live streams every day, and people have been the same question kept coming up: how can I get disciplined and consistent about getting after my dreams? Right? I feel like I don't have motivation, I don't have inspiration, I don't have drive, I don't know what I'm doing. But it all centered around, can someone please help kick me in my behind so that I can get to where I'm trying to go? So I was like, okay, I'll create a 30-day challenge where every day there's a video to watch, and then so it's all action driven. It's not like you're sitting in, it's not a classroom, it's not trying to teach you the mysteries of the universe. It's literally watch this video, do these things, and do it every day for 30 days. And magically, at the end of 30 days, your life will be very different because you will have built new muscle in your brain, new levels of discipline and consistency by being able to stick to something for 30 days, even when you don't feel like doing it. Because the emails in the program, you get an email from me every single day, okay, that says, here is your assignment for today. Go do it. Stop making excuses. Don't put it off until you get your laundry done. Go do it. So that you can start to see the change. Because I guarantee for 99.9% of you that are talking about you're not seeing the things you want to see in your life, it's not an issue with knowledge. That's part of it. You definitely need to have knowledge. But for most of you, that is a smaller problem than disciplined, consistent action. Like, so many people will come in and say, yo, B, your videos are so inspiring and motivating. That's great, but what did you do with the inspiration? How many of you have changed something dramatically in your life because of what I said? Or did you just do the Sunday church thing where I made you feel good for 5 minutes or a minute, 15 seconds to a minute, made you feel good, but then right tomorrow you went right back to the old you? And that's what I don't want to see happen. So I created the challenge to make sure that you guys would stick to becoming disciplined and consistent. And that's where the biggest failing is of everyone I've ever worked with in anything is, yeah, some of it's knowledge. Some of it's you need to know better. You know, I coached a couple people. A guy that I've become friends with that I coached for years has been trying to get a business off the ground. One of his challenges is so this is a knowledge issue, but it's also an issue with execution, right? His knowledge issue is that he keeps trying to create, for his first business, he keeps trying to create Facebook, like something as complicated as Facebook. And it's like, that probably shouldn't be your first attempt, right? That shouldn't be the first thing you try to tackle before you even know what running a business is like, before you even know if you want to run a business. You know how many founders found companies and want to jump off a bridge before they're done with it? Let's see, Cosplay Flower says, today is day one, and I watched the first video as soon as I finished my homework. Great. Good stuff. And then I think I saw you introduced yourself in the Facebook group, so I think you got your work done. All right, so it's part of it's knowledge, right? Dude, stop trying to build Facebook for your, just like I gave him some advice on how to build a business that would work during this corona stuff that could help a lot of people. You know, but the way he wanted to do it was very, very complicated, and he's never run a business before, right? Doesn't even know if he's got the DNA. This is an experiment for him. So it's like, well, wait a minute, have giant goals, like want to start Facebook, but Facebook didn't start as the Facebook we know. It started as some college campus silliness with, Ivy League schools that everybody thought was a terrible idea, you know? If Mark Zuckerberg had come out and said, yo, I'm going to make this network that's going to connect everybody all over the world, people would have thought it was awesome, but he probably wouldn't have completed it, just because it's an extremely hard thing to do, to go from 1 to 60 instead of just go from 1 to 15, man. You know what I mean? So some of it's knowledge, but for most people, even with that little bit of knowledge, if he just goes and executes and every day stays disciplined and consistent. I'm reading every day. I finished a really, really long book that I'm reading today. I finished about a third of it, right? And that's cool. You know, I read some other things. I made a promise to a friend of mine named Madeline that I was going to read Ready Player One. Apologies to my buddy who hooked me up with this copy of it because my kids tore it up. So I started reading that. And then I jumped into some of the more technical stuff that I was reading today. All right. So discipline, consistent action is going to matter way more than your idea, than how much knowledge you have or don't have. You'd be surprised. Like a lot of really, really, really successful entrepreneurs that I've known over the course of my life, whether I was working with them, working for them, or just friends with them, they're not good employees. Like a lot of you think what makes you a good employee, for example, is going to make you a great entrepreneur. And it's pretty counterintuitive. I had a family member one time that's a consummate like laborer. Like it doesn't want to own a business, isn't interested. Just let him show up, do his time, and cut him a check, and he's happy. And he asked me one time, he's like, "Do your don't the clients that you work with ever ask to see your resume?" I was like, "Resume? Like what?" Like it didn't compute to me. I was like, "Oh, you're thinking of it in terms of a job." No, no one's ever asked me to provide them a written resume. Now they want to know that I have references. They want to know that I'm not a hustler. They want to know that I have a background in this, that I've had success with other people before they want to hand me money. But I was like, no. Like, are you kidding me? I'm a terrible employee. If any of you own businesses here, I probably would not be a good employee in your business. And you as the owner probably know neither would you, right? So it took me years to learn that I was a decent soldier because in being a soldier, especially for me being an officer, I had a lot of autonomy and a lot of agency over the things that I did every day. So I didn't have this be here at this time, punch your time card, sit at your desk. Like I was doing stuff as long as I understood the mission and whatever I was doing was working towards getting that done, I was pretty much cool. But like when I was transitioned to more civilian jobs, I just realized I'm not a great employee. I work hard. I'll never suck at anything because it's not a work ethic issue. It's you know, go work for a big company or go work for the government. You'll realize a lot of them don't do things very efficiently, and a lot of things are emotionally driven. It's very different than working in a combat unit, right? So anyway, it can be knowledge, but a lot of times what you're struggling with is disciplined action and consistent disciplined action. And that's what this 30-day program is about. By the way, the shirts came in, y'all. Yes, everybody get your shirt. We are stronger than I. That's our credo, man. And you can get it. YouTube, the link is in the description of the video. You have to type in the HTTPS because the website where the shirts are hosted is secure. And if I link to it from a link that's not secure, it gets stupid. Anyway, YouTube, you can just click the link. TikTok, if you want to get your shirt, and here's what I want you guys on TikTok to do, if you're up for it. Like, not everyone's going to do it. That's okay. I want everyone on TikTok that's doing the 30-day challenge, get a version of this shirt. I have several. Like, I like the baseball players shirt. This is kind of my thing, right, with the half long, half short sleeves. These type of shirts also make my chest look sexy, so I'd like to look like that. But all jokes aside, get a variation of this shirt. We got them for ladies and for dudes, all sizes. Wear the shirt when you're doing your TikTok 30-day check-in, right? Because every day you have an assignment, and then I added to it, do your daily check-in on TikTok to say, hey, today I learned. Today my life changed because I did fill in the blank. Today my life changed in this way, fill in the blank, because I did fill in the blank this thing. And do it with this t-shirt on, because one of the things you'll understand about building a tribe is that you have to have traditions, right? You have to have rituals. You have to have a common language. I have been saying we are stronger than I on the internet for the better part of, 2020? I've been saying that for 6 years on the internet. We are stronger than I. And it's a principle that I learned in the military, that the team, I do for myself as a function of doing for my team, right? So the well-being of my team is more important than the well-being of any one individual alone. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that if you want your team to be squared away, the individual has to be squared away. But I have to put the well-being of my team above maybe some of my own personal interests, right? Not my own personal well-being, because if I'm not square, the team's not square. But my personal interests have to come second to the interest of what the team is there to do, right? So get your shirts. YouTube, links in the description. For TikTok, actually, I think I put it there. For TikTok, you got to go to https:// and then it's just swag.bryantchambers.com. But if you just type that in, you're going to get an error, right? You got to type in. I'll show it to you here. I'll type it for you. HTTP colon. Oops, nope. See, I'm spelling it wrong. Now I'm about to give y'all an error. S colon swag dot Briant, as my quarterback used to call me, Briant. All right. Okay, let's copy that. All right, so TikTok, you want to go get your shirts? I just posted the link there. Now, having said that, Freda's here. What's up, Freda? Let's see. Can I do this without a Facebook? Technically, yes, you can. You'll still get the emails every day. You can still do the activities. What you're gonna lose without Facebook is the community effect and all of us keeping you accountable. And like, if you want to just do it on TikTok, make TikTok videos with the hashtag change your life challenge. Change your life challenge is the hashtag on TikTok. So if you have a TikTok, which you do because you're here, you can just post your videos on TikTok. And I every day am looking for y'all's videos on TikTok, so you'll definitely get to interact with me because I am doing the challenge with you guys. By the way, I'm not just the guy that made this up. I'm doing the challenge with you. Right? I teach you guys all the time. You have to lead by example. I can't expect anyone to show up and do anything that I'm not willing to do. Just like all my courses that I've ever created, I've gone through the courses, right? If I link people to an outside course that's not mine, I've taken that course too. So you can take it to the bank. If I'm linking you to something, it's because I have the utmost trust in what I'm linking you to, right? If it's not mine. If it's mine, then you know I went through the course. Um, but yes, so technically you can do this without a Facebook page. You'll just lose some of the community effect of it. But you can get some of that on TikTok. It just won't be as good. All right, who else is here? Kyle says, I need your help. Okay. Let's see. Omar Rodriguez says, I have been changing in small increments, experimenting with what I learned from you and others. Good stuff, man. Getting the 30-day challenge. You'll change a lot more quickly. All right, let's see what YouTube's talking about. Kyle, I'll come back to you in 1 second. Hold tough, little man. Or big man. Satisfying says hello. How's it going, brother? Amazing. Good to see you. I think I'll be freestyle live just to speak on self healing. I think I'll be freestyle live. I don't know what that means. Oju says, why INFPs are sad most of the time. I don't know. I don't believe that INFPs are sad most of the time. What I believe is that INFPs spend too much effing time on the internet reading blogs about INFPs instead of doing shit with your life. At least the ones that reach out to me with questions like that. Knows you. I'm being tough on you, but it's coming from a place of love. I get too many people. This is, by the way, questions like that are why I stopped making content on YouTube about Myers-Briggs. Because I got tired of these limiting belief, self-fulfilling prophecies of nonsense that all of you have somehow been taught by these blog writers, and I'd had enough of it. And when I tried to help change the way people saw things, it just turned into a certainty bias conflict where I was like, I don't care enough to win an argument. I don't think most INFPs are sad most of the time. I think there's a handful of you on the internet who have anxiety and depression, which has zero to do with you being an INFP. I think it's mental health challenges that no one's taught you how to walk through, and you're attributing it to this 4-letter code that you found out that you were on a test because a bunch of other ill-informed people on the internet are making blogs about it, and they're talking about their depression and anxiety and why, and then you associate with it because you're part of the tribe, right? And then you just fall into this pit of, like, here's a really great way to get out of depression and anxiety. Do some shit that matters to you that impacts somebody else's life in a positive way. Anxiety, depression, done. Now, if you're having clinical, definitely need more intense help, depression and anxiety, which most people don't have, we try to talk ourselves into that, fine, then go see a doc. and deal with it. But it has nothing to do with you being an INFP. An INFP doesn't get depression any more than anybody else. And the narrative on the internet that bothers me with this Myers-Briggs stuff is especially you INFPs and INFJs have created this bubble of illusion that you guys are this super special personality type that's so different and can't be understood by everyone else. And that is actually, that falls under the definition of narcissism. Stop it. Go do something that matters to you, that impacts you and someone else in a positive way, and watch how good you feel about your life when you do that. And you don't have to be another personality type to do it. And Oju says, it's nice to see you too, man. I hope you receive that with love and not judgment or condemnation. I want you to win. And guys, I'm not going to soft shoe and shuck and jive up here just to make people feel good. Like, you've got to get out of these ridiculous beliefs that the internet has fed you young people with, man. It's got to stop. All right. Kyle says, depression beat me. I have nothing left. Both of those statements are false. You're here. You're working. You're trying to get better. And so, Kyle, here's what's going to happen, Kyle. From now on, when you come on my streams, you are not allowed to say anything negative about yourself. Period. Or I will boot you. That's what's going to happen next. Do not come on another one of my streams with this self-deprecation that you are dealing with. And look, brother, I know you're dealing with mental health issues. We've talked about it, right? And I told you that you needed to hustle to go meet with a doc so you can deal with some of that stuff offline, right? But you can't just keep coming to me to get oil changes for your depression and then go right back into the depression. That's not going to help you. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to be on my streams, here's what you need to say. How do I beat depression today? And how do I find the energy to keep going? That's what your statement should say. Not depression beat me and I got nothing left. Horse shit. You mean the dude that defended his life against a knife fight and you protected yourself from a dude trying to stab you and you won the fight? You mean to tell me that guy let depression beat him? It's horse shit. Enough. 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 No more negative self-talk when you come on my calls at all. Because what you're going to learn is I have a ton of empathy for you, but I have limited sympathy for you making excuses or trying to take the easy way out. I don't. And I'm not going to let you wallow in that pity because it's not going to do you any good. And I know that's not what you want from me, is to tell you, oh, I'm so sorry, and pat your head and tell you it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay if you don't change the way you're thinking and talking. And that needs to change with the way that you're acting, too. All right, so when you come here, all you get to do is ask questions that are almost leading questions towards something positive. So instead of depression beat me, you ask, how do I defeat depression for this cause today? Right? Remember what I taught you about how the subconscious brain works? Then you say, how can I put more energy in the tank? Now your brain's going to go to work to find solutions to those problems. When you tell yourself that depression beat you and you have nothing left, what did you learn on day one of the challenge? That as a person thinks, so are they. The Bible says that. Henry Ford said it this way. He said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So you're as long as you keep saying this nonsense, it's going to be true. And I am not your crutch. Like, I will carry you. I will help you. But I'm not going to let you drag your effing feet. Not on my calls, man. Step that up. Woo. All right. Who's next? Let's see. JJ Hours says, day one done other than the book. Just okay. Cool. So yeah, like if you don't already own the book and you don't want to Kindle it and you're actually ordering a physical copy, then you get a pass for day one until the book shows up. But the day it shows up, you got to read the book on that day. Yes, your traits are strengths, not liabilities. Yes. Let's see, J. Rich Frenzy says, Iron Man versus Batman, who wins? Nobody, because I don't like comic books. Good question. All right. Outlook is key. Depression is beatable. Yes. Michelle says, if I work out It makes me feel better. But getting the motivation to do it is the challenge. So here's what we do with motivation. Guys, motivation is only good to start the engine. To keep the engine going, you have to have discipline. So what I tell you guys is stop chasing motivation. I'll tell you why you don't have motivation. It's because you haven't given yourself a reason to work out that's strong enough to make you want to do it every day. So what's the difference between you and I? Right? I work out every day. I do not take days off. Period. Do you think that when I got up at 6:30 this morning, that I was excited to be up at 6:30 and I couldn't wait to get my workout started? Do you think that's how my brain works? And you guys know I've been training on a broken foot. Do you think I wake up every day? Well, I can't wait for my foot to be throbbing tonight and have to give myself a foot massage and ice my foot. My question to you is, what sets you and I apart? Answer that in the comments, and then I'm going to come back to you. What sets me? What is the difference between me? Why do I have all the motivation in the world, but you lack it? Give me your answer, and then we'll talk about it. Deviant Sapien says, "How did you get so much knowledge?" So if you go to my which live stream was that? If you go to my YouTube, I don't remember which stream it was. Let me look it up real quick. I actually talk about this in one of my online YouTube courses that's free. And basically, there's 3 ways to get knowledge, right? Or wisdom. I like to say wisdom, because if I just tell you things and you don't know how to apply them, the knowledge isn't going to do you any good, right? It's 3 ways to get wisdom. There's life experience, there's books, and there's mentors, right? So life experience is probably the best way to get experience, because when you go through it, you taste it and you get to experience it in a very personal way that's very hard to forget the lesson, right? But the problem with life experience is it takes longer. By the time I was 23 years old, I was the equivalent of a 40-plus-year-old man. Why? Because I was preparing for and then eventually went to combat when I was, a little bit later in my 20s. Right? So if you took a 19-year-old kid and threw him into combat today, when he comes home, he's going to be maturity-wise, mindset-wise, he's going to be the equivalent of a 40-year-old man. Right? So I got 40 years, right? So most people don't get I'm 1% of the population at best. Most people don't get that life experience. It would take you until you're 40 or older to have the sensibilities that I have. Not because I'm special, just because I have different life experience. So if you're just relying on life experience, you're going to have a hard time doing things quickly. The other way is books, right? You can go read and get wisdom. It's pretty good. Books are always bloated. You do not need to read every page. This is one of the things I teach in my 52 book challenge, in the paid version. Is like, I don't think the video is called Speed Reading is BS, but it's basically a lesson that I learned from Seth Godin in his school that he ran for people starting startups. And he was talking about himself. He's like, authors write 250-page books because they want to sell books. He's like, all of my books could be summed up in 3 pages or less. Like the things you actually need to know. Everything else is just me telling you stories about stuff I did and businesses I started. So none of these books every one of these books is longer than they are valuable, because Ryan Holiday, God love him, I love his books, but he wants to sell you a book. If he just gave you the pages I singled out as the important ones, which I think if I'm counting here, there's about 8 pages in here that I actually cared enough to highlight stuff on. If he tried to sell an 8-page book for, the price isn't on this one, is it? Whatever this costs, $15, no one would buy that, right? Because nobody buys products, you buy feelings and illusions. So the fastest way to get knowledge, and I'd say it's second best to life experience, is having people mentor you, right? So most of my knowledge comes from all 3, but the mentors are the ones that give you the fastest amount of knowledge for the least amount of effort. right? Because they already know the thing you're trying to learn, and they like I have a friend right now who's been taking me through the gauntlet of how to improve some of the things that I've been doing, and it's awesome because it's opening my eyes and giving me a perspective that I was like, dang, this is so much easier than I've made it all these for years. You know, he easily took 10 years off of my life goals, meaning stuff that would have taken me 10 years to get to, I'll get there in 2 years tops, right? So mentors but the challenge with mentors that everybody runs into is the next question. Hey, what's up, Tony? Good to see you, man. The next question that everybody runs into is when I say mentors, is how do I get a mentor? Well, if you're not in a place in life where there are humans around you, or you're not, because usually the mentors that I have were attracted to me because of something I was doing that was having a really positive impact in the world, right? That's how almost every one of my mentors, except, like one of my primary business mentors, and he's just a life mentor too. Uh, running into him was just serendipity and luck, basically, because he's now like a member of my family. So not everybody gets to have that experience, right? Not everybody has someone just show up in your family who's like, oh yeah, I've been running multi-million-dollar companies my whole life. What do you want to know? So if you don't have that, you don't have the luck that I've had, and you don't have you're doing something right now that's so amazing that people who can mentor you and coach you and help you don't just start showing up, then what you got to do in the short term is start paying them. I don't necessarily recommend going to a lot of seminars, even though I keep talking about these seminars I'm going to be doing, because seminars are like church, where it's very much designed, not all churches, by the way, but a lot. I've worked in a boatload of churches in my lifetime. All right, both as a minister and both just as a person being there. And what a lot of churches do, and I don't think it's intentional, it's just they don't know better. They're doing what they've been taught for centuries. Your father was the pastor, now you're the pastor. What most churches do is they create an emotional experience that happens on usually Wednesday, Sunday, and then there's other stuff going on throughout the week, right? Create an emotional experience that gets people to connect with God in a very tangible way, and then extract value, meaning money and labor out of the people who are in the church, right? So we can pay the light bill, but we can also do our missions trips to go to Africa to help people. So create this groundswell of an emotional experience that people won't forget, and they'll want to be a part of it and keep doing it and keep contributing. But the challenge I see with most churches is everything gets focused on this Sunday or this Wednesday event instead of the getting in the mud, getting your hands dirty. And so the people get this highly emotional experience on Sunday, but right when they go back to work on Monday, it all wears off. And the way you have to get that to not wear off is through immersion training, which is exactly what we're doing with the 30-day challenge. It's exactly what we're doing. Is instead of giving you a church service where I'm just going to rah, 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 and you're like, man, this guy, because you guys will tell me, oh, you're so motivating and inspiring. Okay, good. What did you do with it? I'm not interested in inspiring you if you didn't take that inspiration and go make your and someone else's life better with it. That may sound arrogant or selfish, but I'm okay with that because I want your world to become better because I said something that you went and changed, right? Even if you disagree with something I said and then went and did the opposite and it made your life better, I win either way. You know what I mean? I don't have to be right. I just want to have the impact. So it's, this groundswell at church is rah, rah, feelings, feelings, feelings. Jesus is coming. Ah! And then Monday you're back at work still cussing at people and angry, right? Or miserable or depressed. And it's because just having that one emotional event is not enough to carry you through life. And so when you go to seminars and hire mentors that way, they're just designed to sell you more stuff. Every seminar I've ever been to, except ones that I've coached, it's always go back to the back table and buy the CDs for $200 and buy my shirts and buy the blah, 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 blah. The whole seminar is predicated on we let you in here for free or we let you in here for like $400. Now buy this $20,000 thing that we're doing. And in concept, I don't have a problem with the upsell, right? The grocery store does that to you. That's what business is. It's, oh, you got all your groceries? Why not get a Snickers bar while you're here? You're probably hungry. right? So the upsell isn't what bothers me. What bothers me is that the whole model of them building wealth is on just upselling you stuff that doesn't actually help. So I think finding people that have stuff like my 30-day challenge, which is why I did the 30-day challenge for free, right? Because if I'm telling everyone I'm trying to help people improve their own lives, but I create a barrier of entry, like, and I do have paid programs, I'm not against it, but I want people to see I'm doing this challenge with you, and then when you get results, then it's okay for me to say, hey, by the way, I also have this other program, which I know is going to help you even more because I've been through the program just like I went through this one with you. So when seminars are just selling an idea or a philosophy and they're not guaranteeing you some type, that's why I guaranteed you in the video, I promise you your life will be different if you do this. Well, when you get to the, by the way, you're going to get to the end of 4 days, people are already day one starting to see changes, right? So the promise, I kept my promise by the first day. You didn't have to get to 30. People are like, damn, my life changed just watching that. No one's ever taught me this before. Yeah, I know, because schools don't teach this stuff. Like entrepreneurs and world changers know this stuff. School teachers trying to prepare you for some job where you're going to be a cog in a wheel don't think about this stuff. God love them, right? So hiring somebody, getting into a program where they will actually guarantee you results, or at the very least they give you an out that says if you're paying to be in here and you hate it, you can have your money back, right? So that's getting a mentor is the fastest way, and hire them until you don't have to hire them anymore is what I would say. Let's see. Jacqueline says, want to help people find solutions to beat depression on live videos as well as personal healing. Okay. Truth Maximus says 6:30. You sleeping at 3 hours? Tony J. Squally says INFPs. Yeah, I'm gonna start shutting up about the Myers-Briggs nonsense that's on the internet, guys. I'm not your guru. I'm gonna use the Tony Robbins quote. I'm not the guy, because too many people have too much certainty that this INFP, INFJ, ESTJ silliness is like gospel, that I can't even deprogram you with all the blog bullshit you've read. So it's just like, if it's working for your life, work it. Work it. I don't have the skill set to speak to Myers-Briggs the way these highly emotional blogs not rooted in any real facts or research can do. So I'm not going to try to compete with it. It's like, it would be like me trying to compete with entertainers for attention. It'd be foolish, man. I can't compete with that, nor do I intend to. All right. Who else is here? Military zones joining the Marine Corps. All right. Who else is in the place? Man, a lot of y'all came tonight. That's dope. I hope you guys are enjoying the 30-day challenge for real. Wait, which book? I don't recall getting that. So the book is day 2, not day 1. I'm sorry. So cosplay, you'll see the book tomorrow. You search for words self-control, obsession, determination. Soccer. Thank you, soccer. Jay Rich says, my motivation to work out is my wife is out of my league. I'm trying to catch up. Hey, that's a good motivation, man. Good afternoon, my friend. What up, Deadpool? Laughing Truth says, Jay Rich, that's real. Get on it before it's... Yeah, that's... Jay Rich just tapped into the question I asked Michelle. Like, why do I have more motivation than you? Why am I able to get up and work out 7 days a week? No breaks, no days off, unless I'm injured. And even if I'm injured, I'm probably doing some stretching or some yoga or something on a body part that's not injured. Why am I able to do it? And by the way, it's not because I'm special. I want to be at my core just as lazy as the rest of y'all that don't work out. But I figured something out that you haven't figured out. Michelle says, because it feels like I am never going to reach my goals. Okay, great. Great segue. Your problem is you are focused on the end result. And what all the magazines and all the horse shit fitness people have told you on the internet is in 6 weeks, let me show you how to get a 6-pack. It's not going to happen. I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your goals are or how you feel. But if you were to say, I'm going to take the next year to get my health squared away, and this is the discipline and consistent action I'm going to take every day to get there, and you fall in love with every day waking up because you've got to love, want, or hate something bad enough to change. And that's the answer to the question is I hate looking and feeling out of shape. I always have. That's why I've never, even at when I was almost 300 pounds, I still looked like The Rock because I still was lifting weights. I was getting big on purpose. I was bodybuilding. And like my tailor, I remember when I was going to buy suits when I was that big, he was pissed. He was like, bro, are you trying out for the Redskins? What are you doing? I was like, no, I'm bodybuilding. He's like, are you going to be in a competition? I'm like, no. He's like, well, then will you please just grow a gut like everyone else your size? He's like, I'm going to have to get 2 coats off the rack and make a coat out of them for you because your shoulders, my shoulder span is still pretty big, but he's like, your shoulders and chest are so big that your coat is going to be out here. He's like, I'm going to have to make a coat for you. And it's going to cost you twice the amount. You know, this is why I don't wear suits today. Like I judge my life success based on how many days I don't spend in a suit. I'm going to have to tell my family not to bury me in one. But the he was just like, I'm going to have to charge you double for the suit. But I have a burning obsession with being in shape, looking and feeling a certain way. That obsession is stronger than my human desire to be lazy and to not take the action. And so what you have to do is instead of focusing on, oh, I'm never going to reach my goal. Again, I told you guys, no more limiting belief talk on any of my streams. I don't want to hear it, right? You are looking at a goal that seems insurmountable because you're not thinking about the process that will actually get you there, right? And so what you need to commit to is the process. Like have the goal. This is what I always tell people. Have crazy goals, but be insanely practical about how you're going to achieve them through discipline and consistency. I mean, like, be practical. I'm going to work out 7 days a week. Here, like, if you look at, if I could pull it up, you guys won't be able to see it because I can't share my screen on these apps, but I could pull up my meal plan and my workout plan. It is mapped out all the way down to how many repetitions. Well, I push to failure when I lift weights, so it is mapped out all the way down to the number of sets that I'm going to do for each exercise per day and on which days, and which days I run hill sprints, and which days I walk with my wife, and which days I do football practice with my sons. It's discipline and consistency. Okay? That's the key. And you don't get the discipline and consistency until you want the benefits more, you know, or you hate the bad feeling more than that desire to hit the snooze button. And so you've got to develop that desire. Kyle says, how do I train my mind to stop bashing myself? Stop trying to do it with your mind. Do it through action. When you start to feel depressed, go help somebody else. Go help somebody else in the world that has it worse off. Go help your grandfather with something. When you feel depressed, go to grandpa's house, grandma's house, help them with something they can't do because grandpa's sick. From now on, that's what you do. And your actions are going to start to govern how you feel, right? Too many of you guys are trying to think your way into better feelings and thoughts. It doesn't work. Like, act your way into better thoughts, which lead to better feelings, which then lead to better actions, right? That's why this 30-day program, is so focused on you guys taking action and not just taking classes and sitting in school. Like, there's things you have to do every day, right? I mean, there's a part where you watch a video because I need to explain some stuff to you, but then you got to go get busy and do the thing. Like, how many of you guys are on day 2 and you actually took your hexaco test and your dark triad test and posted it to the Facebook group the way I instructed? How many people did that? Right? How many people joined the Facebook group? That was day 1. Now I'm going to tell you, right now, since I made the announcement, let me just help you guys do the math, and this will help you with you guys who try to run online businesses. There are right now over 800 people who've joined since I made the announcement 2 days ago. 800 people in this program. 205 have joined the Facebook group. The day 1 activity is join the Facebook group and introduce yourself. Less than half of the people in the program have done that. Right? Go take action. You're not going to think and feel your way into a better life. act your way into better thinking, which leads to better feelings, which leads to better actions, which leads to better thoughts, and it becomes a positive feedback loop. All right. Difference between you and us is that you put your daily practice. Yeah, but why is what the difference is. The why. How and why am I able to do that? And it's because I want something more than you do. Period. That's the only thing that sets me apart. How do you read 3 books a week? Because I came from a lifestyle where a lack of knowledge got either me or people I cared about killed. So I started habits back when I was 23 years old, where I got up every morning, started reading my Bible or some book to get knowledge in my head that would help me lead these men to a place that didn't end with us dying. I needed to know more. I started reading Art of War, all these things so I could know. The fear of me getting somebody killed drove me to read all the time. And then it became a habit, and now I just do it on autopilot. But it doesn't start as a habit. That's why you know, this 30-day challenge is, it actually takes about 63 to 67 days to form a new habit. I'm only giving you 30 of them because I want to give you a taste. Spoiler alert, what you don't know is when you get to the end of 30 days, I tell you, there's another 30 days. Click here if you want to do it. And we'll see how many people get to that and actually click it and actually decide to keep going, right? And decide to keep the disciplines. Because at some point, you've got to, I can't do it for you forever. I can send you emails and yell, get up, get off your lazy ass, blah, blah, blah. But I'm stopping that at 30 days. Right? Then you're going to have the opportunity to keep doing it yourself and to keep going through the lessons. Because once you get to the end of 30 days, there are 40 more things to do. But you have to decide that you're going to do that. Right? So for those of you on the call tonight, you got kind of a spoiler alert for the end of the 30-day challenge. Laughing Truth says, boom, doing it as a daily routine. Laughing Truth's in the house, my brother. Most of us just talking from the changing. You actually do it. So that makes me different in the what. What I want to know is how am I different in the why and the how? And that's what you guys are missing. Yes, you can look at me. You can watch me eat and be like, oh, he eats really healthy. He eats clean. He eats organic. He doesn't put junk food in his face. He doesn't eat chocolate every day. He never eats pizza. Like once, I don't remember the last time I had a slice of pizza. Right? And here's the thing. The way I train, I could eat pizza every day and still be in shape. But I limit myself because I have trained myself to enjoy the feeling of restraint, to enjoy the conscious. My man Laughing Truth has taught me. You guys talk about mentors. This is a great friend of mine he's taught me to put words to things I've done my whole life, but now I can explain them. He talks about conscious suffering. I did a TikTok video 2.5, maybe 3 months ago that was titled Why I Go to Hell Every Day. I like his version better. I am creating conscious suffering because I've taught myself to find pleasure in the suffering because the suffering leads to results I like. Health, healthy heart, healthy body, kids, energy, playing with my kids, right? It keeps the symptoms of some of the challenges I've had mentally and emotionally over the years. It keeps that at bay. What keeps me from choking people in the streets is lifting weights and training hard because I can get people, simple-minded people who are very narcissistic, like the lady I talked about in the Doberman video today on TikTok. People like her, because I joke with you guys, but I'm only half joking. It's like people like, you should run for president. I'm like, okay, just know you might be one of the people I Thanos the fuck up out of this country. Like seriously, I'm going to get a Thanos glove and we're going to create technology that can teleport people, and there's going to be an island that I've picked that all these people who behave like that you won't even have to worry about jail. Jail will be out of business if I'm president because I'm snapping these people up out of here. Like you are holding up human evolution with your stupidity. Right? Those people, now I don't want to commit an act of violence. That's not the point, and I never would. But it creates an aggression in me because of my survival instincts and being around stupidity. Like I told you guys, stories from combat where stupidity gets friends hurt and killed. And so stupidity is like kryptonite to me. And it's not a lack of intelligence because, I could be dumb as a box of rocks for all I know. But there's one thing you won't say about me is that I can't critically think. I can think like a motherfucker. That's my strength. Right? But it's people who just are so narcissistically in their own world, walking with 7 foot tall Dobermans in the middle of the apocalypse. Now, I'm not scared of dogs because if this dog comes at me, I know how to defend myself. And my assumption is the lady's trained her dogs. Right? I'm not afraid. But just because I've had dogs come at me, it's like I know exactly how to make this dog go see Jesus. And she'll cry right in front of me like, you should have trained your dog, lady. Because today, your narcissism and your selfishness and I'm just going to do things my way and not obey the law, which is keep your dog on an effing leash. That's what sent your Doberman to meet Jesus today, because you effed with the wrong guy, right? So people like that do cause me some distress. So I get to go lift weights, and that gets all that negative energy out, right? So I associate pleasure with the pain. Like I cause myself pain so that other people don't, right? Zig Ziglar, motivation is like a shower. Daily, yeah, Zig is the man. And you guys know I've been on this kick lately where I say motivation is bullshit. And it's not completely, because motivation is important, but I say extreme things to disrupt people's thinking habits. Like, why did he say motivation is bullshit? I'll tell you why. Because the way you're using it is bullshit. It is important. It starts the engine, but it does not keep the engine going. Discipline does. And so what you have to find is what is the fuel behind motivation, and that fuel is desire for something good or to run away from something bad. I don't care which one you pick. Like my tailor, when he's like, why won't you just grow a gut? Like, just, you're 276 pounds. You look like The Rock, although you're an inch shorter than he is. You look like The Rock. Just get a belly and be like a regular person, and then I can sell you a coat. I don't have to make a suit coat for you. No. I don't want to do that. I would not feel comfortable walking around with a big ass gut. It's not my jam. Right? And not even for like insecure reasons, just my own. I respect myself enough. That's not my jam. Like, and I don't mind people that roll like that. It's just not for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, bump it. I'm going to get up and work every day. Right? And if you find any areas in my life where I'm not disciplined like that, it's for the same reasons Michelle's not disciplined with working out. Because you can find areas in my life where I'm slipping. If you look close enough, you'll find some. Right? But I have to tell myself the same speech I'm giving Michelle, which is, if you don't want something bad enough to push you into the lion's den, you're probably not going to do it. All right. Jacqueline says, I'll do this today. So yeah, Jacqueline, it's or is it Jacqueline? I'm not sure if you're spelling it with a Y and it's pronounced like a J, like in Spanish, or is it Yak? Um, so I think it's in the video description. It's 30days.brianchambers.com is the challenge, Jack. Squally says, I need shorter goals, though. 1 year goals just make my stomach shrivel. No, you need crazy goals. What you need to do is set objectives within those goals, right? Smaller targets of opportunity and wins that you can get that lead. So let's say my goal is to reach 1 billion people across the planet and change. My goal is to change the way 1 billion people think. Okay? Not to make them agree with the stuff I believe. Listen to what I'm saying, everybody. To change the way 1 billion people think. Like, to just make you think. For some people is changing the way they think, because most people don't think. They react emotionally to everything. Okay, if I focused on reaching 1 billion people, like Michelle focusing on, I'm never going to get to my goal, that's how it's going to feel. So what I focus on is smaller objectives, and I'm stupidly practical about those objectives. Get to 100,000 followers on TikTok. Check. Already did that. Right? Do the same thing on YouTube. Check. We're doing that. We're funneling TikTok traffic into YouTube right now. Right? Get 100,000 people paying attention to the podcast. Check. We're funneling people. You see what I mean? So it's all of those are objectives that are totally doable. I've already reached the TikTok. I had to change my TikTok objective because it was too small. Right? Like, I blasted through a year's worth of stuff in 4 months, or not even, less than 4 months. Right, so now it's like, okay, set a bigger objective, but the goal is still reach 1 billion people. But every day I'm not waking up like billion people. Every day I'm waking up, okay, what's the next right thing to do to get to these objectives I've laid out? Right? You need to go watch my life strategy live stream. So you don't need smaller goals. You need crazy goals, because that's where the motivation game starts to get played. If you set some stupidly easy goal, you're either going to do it really fast and like, I did it. I got six-pack abs. Now I can go back to eating pizza. Then you're going to be fat again, right? Or the goal is just big enough that it still takes you a long time to get to it, but it's not big enough to where you wake up every day like, hell yeah, this is something I'm working on that means something to me and it's hard, which is making me grow, right? So, and you'll get conflicting advice where people say, set achievable goals. No, set practical goals. No, set giant goals. I say mix all of those philosophies into one thing. Set stupid ass crazy goals, and then underneath that, set objectives that will help you get to the goal that are the achievable part. And then in the action part of your planning for your life, in the action part, be stupidly practical, disciplined, and consistent, and live here, not at the goal. Like the goal is just what happens because I'm doing the right things. Like I was telling my son today, we were doing football practice and they had to run like a 110-yard sprint 4 times. It's up, back, up, back, up, back. It's like a 400-meter sprint. And the first one took his soul. He was just like, Dad, no. He's breathing hard. And I walked up to him and I kind of pull him aside from his brothers because I want him to hear me say it so that he can lead his younger brothers. Because remember, if you have kids, the older kids are going to influence the younger ones way more than the parents. Right? Same thing if you run a company. The middle managers are going to have way more influence over the people than the big bosses. Same thing with the church. Right? So I pull him aside and I have my hands on his shoulder pads. I said, listen, buddy, don't focus on the tree. The tree is going to come. But right now you are depressed because you're looking at how far away that tree is. The tree is the goal. I said, your objective, and I said, look down at the ground. Your objective is the next step right in front of you. What's the next step? And so in the Navy, in the SEAL teams, they have a saying, and I don't know if they say it anywhere else, but it's keep your world small, right? I don't focus on the pie in the sky goal. I set the pie in the sky goal so that I can always be making progress towards something that's important. But I focus on, once I set the objectives, I focus on the day-to-day action. That's what gets my focus, and I become obsessed with the process and the execution, which is the most important part, what I told you guys in the beginning, right? So I told him, just look at the ground in front of you and tell yourself when you get tired, all I have to do is take one more step. And then when you make that step, all I have to do is one more step. You don't have to run to the tree. You just have to take the next step. Same thing with Michelle. You don't have to reach your fitness goals today. Just focus on getting a little better and a little bit more disciplined today than you were yesterday. Right? Don't focus on the tree. Focus right here. Keep your world small or you will get overwhelmed. Right? That's the game. You got to keep your world small. One of my SEAL buddies said, when he was going through Hell Week, basically their mentality was just get to the next meal. Like, I don't know if I'm going to last through Hell Week because I'm dying. We're only, we're 48 hours in. I already feel like I've gone completely nuts because I'm sleep deprived, right? Which is something, it's a crazy, crazy process these guys go through. And he was just telling me, the mindset is just get to the next meal. Like, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about down the road. Don't worry about graduation or if I'm even going to become a SEAL. Just get to because they feed you, I think, every 6 hours. They have to feed you, right? Otherwise, they'd kill them. But it's just get to the next meal. All I'm focused on is my next meal, my next meal, my next meal. Not what exercise they're going to make us do tomorrow. Not that they're going to make us run into 30-degree water tomorrow. Just get to the next meal, right? So just set the goals and then put them on the shelf. Set the objectives that are going to help you get to the goal, and then focus on your next meal. That's why goals usually get overwhelming. That's why people don't stick to fitness plans because they're so focused on the goal, and then every day they're in the mirror trying, are my obliques showing? Oh, look at that. No, they're not. And you see how fat you are still, and it's like, Jesus Christ, I'm not making any change. Well, it's because when it comes to fitness, unless you're already in really pretty good shape, it's going to take 2 months before you see a real change. I always tell people who I've trained who are trying to get smaller, like get cut up, don't allow yourself to look at yourself naked. Don't allow yourself to see yourself naked for 30 days. If you can make it 60 days, don't look at yourself for 60 days, because if you do that, when you do look at yourself in 60 days, you'll be like, holy Jesus, look how different I look. But if you're checking every day, you're not going to notice the changes. Right? So that's kind of how I approach it. Set the goal. Like right now, my goal fitness wise is to get to 9% body fat. By the way, I lost 2% just this week. I went from 19 to 17. Right? So I'm at 17 now, which is totally acceptable. That's within military standards. I could stop right here. Nope. I set a stupid goal of 9% body fat, which, by the way, like Arnold Schwarzenegger at competition weight was probably 3%, which is unhealthy. You can't stay there. But I gave myself, as a person, I'm a football player. Like genetically, I'm wired to be more of a football player. You know, assault teams love to have guys like me that to be the door kicker because I'm big. And like the breach man, basically, who can come in, maybe absorb a couple rounds before everyone else gets shot. But it's I'm not focused on 9%. I know when I'm going to get there because I can, that's a goal that I can figure out with math, right? I know how to use the calculators. I know how to understand my body fat percentage, my BMI, my weight. I know what I need to eat every day in terms of calories. I know what I need in terms of my macros, my protein, my carbohydrates, my fats, right? I know where to hover around, how many calories I'm burning just sitting around, how many calories I'm burning when I work out. Every workout's calorie burn. So now I know I need to stay under 1,000 calories under my total. Like today, I burned a total of, I probably burned 4,000 calories today, but I always underestimate it. So I come in just a little bit less, just in case I'm wrong, right? Because there's no perfect way to measure that. Hold on. I don't hear any screaming, so I think they're okay. Children. Um, but I know all that. So I know around the end of August, or it's either end of July or end of August, I'd have to look at my tracker, I'll be at 9% body fat. I know how much I'll weigh, just about how much I'll weigh, depending on how much more muscle mass I'm able to put on during those months. I'll probably weigh somewhere between, I don't know, somewhere probably between 205 and 220, right? Um, but again, that's how much muscle mass, how much more muscle mass can I put on while I'm cutting my body fat percentage will determine how much I weigh at 9%. And yeah, so that goal is practical to me, but it's still a big goal. I've never been 9% body fat in my life. I've been as high as 30. I've probably been as low at my lowest as 13, maybe 12. And I was a rail back then, so it's like I'm interested to see what I look like at 9. But so I set the crazy goal, but then I'm really practical. I work out 7 days a week. I eat right, 29 out of 30 days a month, right? I don't have cheat days, right? I'll have meals. Like I ate 3 pieces of pound cake on Easter because my wife made a delicious pound cake. She wanted everyone to eat and enjoy themselves. I was like, all right, I'll eat a little pound cake. I'll indulge. Why not? And by the way, I still came in under my calorie requirements. My macros were off for Easter, but I still didn't gorge even 3 pieces of pound cake for me. It's not the end of the world. I still lost 2% of my body fat because my weigh-in was the day after I ate all the cake, right? I still lost. Our scale is kind of weird. I don't like using a scale so much to measure progress because scales can be weird. Um, I lost anywhere between 2 and 4 pounds, depending on the scale, uh, or like 1.6 to 4 pounds, somewhere in there. I lost, but I definitely lost 2% body fat. Right, so that's a way you can set goals that are big goals, but you have a practical. What most of you do is you set a goal, and then I want to be a billionaire by the time I'm 30. Okay, all right, sure. Now you need someone that's done that can say, okay, here's all the shit you're gonna have to do, right? Like the billionaire I told you guys that trained me on how to operate and run a business, right? So he was 38 right around the time he became a billionaire. All right. So if you want to be a billionaire by the time, and he had been working, building businesses since he was 17. So it took him, what's that? 10. It took him 21 years of building to get to billionaire. So if you're 20 now and you're going to be a billionaire by your 30. Okay, I'm okay with you setting that goal. But you better know what you're getting into. And you better have someone that's done that who can show you just how much sleep you're not going to get for the next 10 years. Right? So it's okay to set a crazy goal, but then your actions have to map to the goal. Like I can't say I'm going to reach 1 billion people all over the world and change the way, not change what you think, change the fact that you think instead of react emotionally to the world. It's an impossible task. We've lived throughout human history where only 2% of people ever figure out this thing that I'm talking about. The 98% just continue to live in their emotions, continue to talk about Game of Thrones and whatever other bullshit's going on Netflix and getting emotional because Michael Jackson died. And that's great. But it's an impossible goal. But it's only impossible because no one's ever done it before. No one's ever tried to do it, right? Jesus probably could have accomplished it if his mission wasn't to come here and be a martyr within 3 years. Because look at, he actually, and that's not true. He did do it because there's over 1 billion people in his belief system, right? So it has been done before. You just kind of have to be Jesus to do it. And okay, if you're going to be Jesus, I can't say, hey, I want to kind of be like Socrates, Marcus Aurelius, and Jesus combined into one, and then not show up and do things, especially on social media where everybody's hanging out. Like if I said, I'm going to reach 1 billion people and change lives, one soul at a time, and then I make a video once in a while. I don't do any of the stuff. Like you guys don't get to see what I do off camera, like the things I was doing last night working with some of my veteran brothers, like guys going through some pretty heavy stuff. You guys don't get to see that, right? Because that's private. But if I wasn't doing that, then I don't get to have the goal. Make sense? Which, by the way, if any of you here, let me just say this, if you're not in the 30-day challenge, do it. 30days.bryantchambers.com. That's 30 days, plural, .bryantchambers.com. Make sure you spell it right. Don't come in the comments saying, your link doesn't work. No, you don't work. The link is fine. So many people like, your link does. Now, for some people, I was using a link shortener, and I think that was giving people problems because of the security settings on their computer. So you get a pass. But 30days.bryantchambers.com works. If it doesn't work, you typed something wrong. All right. And based on the way some of you guys write comments, I guarantee you typed something wrong. Because some of you, I have to ask if English is your first language. All right. And sometimes it's not. But 30days.bryantchambers.com. At the end of that 30 days, everyone's going to get an opportunity to join what's called my Good Life Playbook. You could do that now and still do the 30-day process, right? That's learn.bryantchambers.com. You can join that tonight. And for like 0.3% of you that come on these calls, and I had somebody ask me last night, one-on-one coaching, do I do it? Not often. Why? Because it's crazily time consuming, and I have a family and other things going on, right, in my own life to coach me through, right? I have veterans that I'm responsible for and helping. So it's crazily time consuming. As a result, I make it crazily expensive because my time is extremely valuable. And so is yours, which is why with one-on-one coaching, I won't even talk to you if you can't commit to 8 hours of your life. Now, it's not 8 hours in a day. It's usually 8 hours over the course of 2 months because we meet once a week for an hour. And it usually goes a little bit longer, depending on what we're working on in your life, okay? If you want that, you can email me at contact@bryantchambers.com. I'll tell you straight up, no BS. You're going to commit to 8 hours of your life. And depending on what I'm coaching you on, you're coming to the table with a minimum of $5,000. All right. So if that's something that you want, you can email me. We'll talk about it. I don't take everybody. Not everybody can do it. Some people are just hungrier than others. All right. That said, let's get back to the comments. Tyler Brown says, yo, B, what up? Squally says, are you training for a fight? Goddamn, bro. Nah, yes, I'm training for the fight called life. Y'all need to get y'all's asses up and train. And this is the other thing too, guys. I'm going to do a video in the near future called The Curse of Ordinary. All of you have ordinary life goals. And that sucks because you were not created to be ordinary at all. We're the only species on the planet that can do the stuff we do. And we're telling our kids, now set practical goals, Timothy. Make sure you go to college, get a good job, Safe job. No such thing as safe, Mom. Even the government workers get sent home every year for a couple of weeks. Some of them don't get paid, and other ones don't get to come back to their job. Well, it's still safer than being an artist. No, no, not really. Like there's people on TikTok right now making $100,000 a month just making art videos, ma. And there's this guy named PewDiePie that shoves video game controllers up his ass in fat suits. He gets paid $7 million a year. Yeah, but most people don't do that. That's true. Most people don't, ma. They don't. But everyone that works really hard at it and dedicates himself to it still is able to make a living doing it, not having to go to some shitty job that's going to send you home every year because the president doesn't get along with people. Sound like anybody's conversation at your house? Yeah, the curse of ordinary's got to stop. And here's the other thing. If you are living in the curse of ordinary around me, I'm going to be very, very annoying to your life. You're just going to hate me because I'm just going to continue, not on purpose and not intentionally, but I'm going to continue to talk about things that are like, man, F this dude. I used to have people like that I worked around like over a decade ago. Like, they'd eat lunch. Like, don't look at what I'm eating. I know you're in shape. Like, what does what I eat have to do with your life? Like, you should take some of that shitty energy you have and come to the gym with me. Like, actually do something productive. You might actually win. All right, let's get back to the comments here. I've been running my mouth. Cosplay says, I want to be obsessed like you, but I'm not sure on what yet. That's okay. Like, if you don't know what to be obsessed with, I didn't. It gets more and more clear the longer you play the game. So just get obsessed with what you know right now. Focus on that. Inevitably, you'll probably accomplish some of those goals, and then you'll set new goals, right? And you'll probably set a couple of goals. I mean, one of my goals, guys, was to be a professional musician. I achieved that goal, by the way. I wasn't paid a lot. It was a side hustle, but I still got paid to make music. And I didn't have to sit in a studio. I got to do shows, in different places. But my goal was to play with the Roots. I wanted to actually be a featured artist with the Roots this was before they became the house band of the Tonight Show. I didn't reach that goal, and that was by choice because I learned along the path, like, I don't really want to be a musician. I'm doing music because I want to say some cool shit to people, but I actually want them to take what I'm saying and do something with it. And music's not a good medium for that. It's just not. And I had a mentor in the music industry who I still connect with today. I still learn from her today. Like, I apply stuff she's taught me just to life. Like, damn, she's so right. Like, she taught me a lot about human nature. Like I told you, my biggest mistake was underestimating how ignorant I was about human nature because I grew up in a bubble. I grew up in a sheltered circle of assassins. Think about, you grew up in Assassin's Creed, right? That's me. I grew up as the dude in Assassin's Creed, and then after I'm done assassinating everybody, I got to go live a normal life with regular people. Like, what in the hell is wrong with all you people? Right? That's the best way I can describe my life. And so I underestimated just how little I knew about how people operate because I was used to dealing with Ezio. All right, love you on YouTube. Looking forward to your content on TikTok. Thanks, Coldra. I appreciate you, man. Young Kiki, yo, it's too late to start this. No, it's never too late. The 30 days starts when you start. And here's the best part for those of you that didn't start with us is right now there are people on day 3. I'm on day 2 because I started over so that I could be with the bulk of the audience. Right now there's people on day 3. If you join now, you're going to be doing day 1 while they're doing day 3. You're going to hear them start to talk about day 4 and day 5 and day 6, and then you're going to get excited about, yo, I can't wait till I get to that day, right? And then they're going to be able to reach back and say, yes, and when you have a question, now the group becomes your coach. Like I told you, to hire mentors. For some of you, the best way to hire a mentor is going to be to pay attention to the people in this challenge. Because make no mistake, there's people in this challenge who are some assassins, right? Very few of these people are just cats off the street. Right, you're going to meet people in there that are kicking ass in their lives, and you're going to ask a question. They're going to be the one to answer you and say, yeah, for that, do this. Try this, right? And so you'll start to get feedback from other people, and then it becomes a tribe of folks actually working to help each other. But it only works if you stay disciplined and consistent. But it's never too late. You could join on my day 30. I don't plan to stop doing the challenge. I plan to just keep taking people through the 30-day challenge. As many people as want to join, and you start when you start. I don't have any plans right now to shut it down. Uh, I might have to slow it down because you're going to get to the end of 30 days and then you're going to get a choice to continue because it's actually a 70-day program, right? So you're going to get the choice to continue on for the next 40 days of now you've developed some discipline with me kicking your ass. Now you take self-discipline and go do the rest. There's going to be a number of people that do that, and I do have limits on how many folks I'm going to let into that program, right? But as far as the 30-day challenge is concerned, 30days.brianchambers.com. Get in there, make it happen. Tyler says, what's this 30 days? I promise that I'll show you the way to change your life. 30days.brianchambers.com. Don't think about it. Do it. Don't ask questions. And in fact, when you guys go to the website, my favorite part, one of the members of my paid program wrote me. She was like, dude, I love the fact that you only give people 2 minutes to decide. Like you can't even read the website slow or it's gonna cut off on you. Like you got 2 minutes to make up your mind and I'm out. And she was laughing. She made me laugh thinking about it. Because I want you to get in the habit of taking. That's one of the things in combat that you just don't. It's not a luxury to sit around and think about shit. Sometimes you just got to act. I mean, we had a civilian on the battlefield one time. Well, we didn't know if he was a civilian. And I had to make a decision because he was a threat to us while we were fighting in a different direction. And so I had to dedicate soldiers, personnel to watching him, and he wouldn't come out of this ditch he jumped in. So I said, start lobbing grenades at his ass. I said, don't throw the grenade in his ditch because I want to kill the guy, but I want to wake his ass up. So we had a grenade launcher, and they were just boom, shooting grenades over to the hole where he was hiding. Boom. And then you could see he rips off a piece of his clothing that's white and starts waving it. And I said to my interpreters, I said, you tell his ass he's going to meet Allah tonight. If he doesn't come out of that fucking hole. If he comes out, we're not going to hurt him at all. We're going to let him go about his business. But if he doesn't come out of there in the next 30 seconds, that's his ass. Right? When you're on the battlefield, I don't have time to think, well, what's the moral implication? The moral implications are if this dude has a bomb strapped to him, or if he has a weapon that he's concealed, my dudes could be getting shot. So he's lucky he had me doing it because someone else would have just killed him. I didn't want to kill someone that didn't mean us harm, but I wanted him to know we'll light his ass up if he comes out of that. Because what our enemies were doing in a lot of times was disguising themselves and then pulling weapons out and shooting at you. Or they pull out like a bomb was strapped to him, and so you just never knew. And so I was like, you tell him in every language you know that you think he speaks, he's got 30 seconds to come out of that hole, or we're going to lob a grenade up his ass. Right? Sometimes on the battlefield, you don't have time to be thinking, how should get my team together? What do you guys think I should do? Like, F you, we're getting shot at from over here. We got to take care of business. So I want you to get in the habit of getting after it, not thinking about it. But no, it's not too late. Get in there. Trini Joker says, noticing your book collection. What would you recommend young men? What would you recommend for young men and love? Define love. Kyle says, so the more positive actions lead to positive feeling. Of course, Kyle. Of course. You are trapped inside your brain, and your brain has been conditioned to beat you down because your caretakers beat you down for so long. And if you keep that up, it's going to lead to learned helplessness. So the way you get out of it is not by thinking your way out of it. You get out of it by acting your way out of it. Every therapist will tell you this. If you ever went to a 12-step thing, the first thing they're going to make you do is some action that I don't know the name of, right? So you got to act. You act your way into feelings, which acting changes. It will chemically alter the way your brain is functioning in a good way. And then that will lead to feelings. And then when you go help grandpa tomorrow, you're going to feel good about that. And you're like, I should probably keep doing this because it's making me feel good and it's helping people. And I promise you, when you were worried about somebody else's life and helping them and getting their life squared away, you don't have the capacity in your brain to then be worrying about all the stuff that's going on with you. Your biggest problem is you isolate, you stick to yourself, which means you're just in your head. And your head is not a good place to be when it's in the condition that it's in. And to alter your head, you're going to have to alter your actions, which will change the chemistry of the brain. It'll also change the way you feel, and then it becomes a positive feedback loop. Do good action. Hey, I'm thinking good thoughts. Oh, that made me feel good. Let's do another good action. And then it just becomes a cycle of doing good things for you and for other people. Michelle says, I got to go as it's late, but I will be back. Thank you. Bless you, Michelle. Get after it. Lizzie says, I'm behind. So nobody's behind. You are where you are. There is no behind. You start the challenge when you start. There's no behind. All right? We're all in it together. Some of us are on different days, but that doesn't matter. Right? Because the goal of the program is the consistent, disciplined action. Queen, what up? I haven't posted it yet, but I'm about to. Cool. Casual Camo says, I just finished the video. Excellent. Former Soldier says, I got day 1, but didn't get day 2 email. Okay, so Former Soldier, you probably signed up the first day I announced it, and the website was jacked up. So here's what we do. Go to 30days.bryantchambers.com and re-sign up, and you'll be good to go. Like you got the first day's lesson because signing up just takes you to the website without sending the email. All right, so just go back, submit, and make sure you guys are. I know, here's what's funny, because I can see everything that's happening behind the scenes. Here's what I can tell a couple people are doing. Some people are using fake emails because they think it's a scam. So it's like all my numbers, like my conversion numbers are over 100% for how many people are looking at page 1, because you can see page 1 if you fake it. Like somebody put Bob at AOL.com, like that's a real dude, and got day 1. But then doesn't get anything else because you used a fake email address. Now, I'm not saying you did that. But yeah, it's just funny. Like I can see I don't know it's you that's doing it. Like I don't have access to your private information, but I can see how many of you are doing what. So it's like, all right, keep playing. Y'all better do these assignments. I think I'm playing. But yeah, so just go back and re-enter your email address and you should be. And before you do that, check junk mail, and if you're using Gmail, check promotions, because for whatever reason, my auto emailer system sometimes goes into spam. So just check to make sure it's not getting lost there before you re-sign up. Sabrina Nelson says, I am nervous to post on TikTok. Here's a cool thing about being nervous that a lot of people don't know. Physiologically, it's the same thing as being excited. It's just the brain that tells you it's different. So why don't you say, I'm excited to get to post on TikTok, instead of I'm nervous to post on. I'm excited that I get to post on TikTok. Try that. And then post a video and see what happens. Dave Compton said, it's purely discipline over motivation, period. Yes, absolutely. And motivation does have its place, but you guys have been sold on these feel-good seminars for the last, and these infomercials that have been going on since the 90s at least. That's when I remember that stuff starting, when I was living with my parents as a young dude. But these infomercials and all your dreams are like are within your grasp. Like, no. You've been taught to be inspired, you've been taught to be motivated, but none of those things create consistent action. They just don't. Discipline does, and discipline has to be fueled by obsessive desire. Without obsessive desire, you're never going to have enough inspiration or motivation to do what has to be done to win. You're just not. By the way, that's one of the exercises you're going to go through in the 30-day challenge. I think it's called, Are You Desperate Enough to Win? Most people aren't. That's why most people don't win or reach their weight loss goals or whatever it is. Really, it's not 21 days to build a new habit. No, the new science on that says it takes, on average, anywhere, I think, at the lowest, it's in the 30s, and at the highest, it takes people close to 70 days to form a new habit. It's different for everybody. But it's somewhere between like 37 and 63 to form a new habit. But no, it's not 21 days. Unless that's like a really crazy extreme case. Sorry, where do I get info from, please? So 30days.bryantchambers.com. If you want to get your We Are Stronger Than I t-shirt, it's the link for that. I'll just post it instead of trying to read it to you guys, because oh, come on, TikTok stopped it again. Freaking TikTok. So yeah, make sure you guys who are posting the TikTok videos for the 30-day challenge, make sure you get your shirts, yo. It's important. And you when you write this web address out, you need to write the HTTPS part. All right? You need to do that because it's a secure website. 30days.brianchambers.com, you can just type and it's fine. But for the swag, you need to go to https://swag.brianchambers.com. For the YouTubers, the shirt is in the video description. You can just click on the link. Guy with a rock says, I feel that people who have small lung capacity tend to be more lazy. That'd be an interesting like test study to do. I think we'd have to define the parameters of what defines someone as lazy, because I find that most people who label themselves or get labeled as lazy aren't actually lazy. They just don't want anything bad enough to take action. You know, like if you made me the accountant at 7-Eleven, I would look lazy as hell because I would not be I'd be bored out of my mind. That job would give me anxiety because it's boring as shit. You know what I mean? I would look lazy because I have no desire to help 7-Eleven do anything. Queen Iris says, thank you, brother, for letting me be a part of this, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. Awesome. I'm almost done with the last test. I'm going to do that in post. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking at all y'all's test scores. It's pretty good stuff. I hope everybody saw mine and you saw how low I score in emotionality. It'll give you some clues as to why I'm not the warmest, most sympathetic guy on these live streams. My man Kev, what's up, dude? Love this topic, bro. On the other side of suffering is everything you actually want. Yes. All right, I am going to skip to the bottom because there's no way I'm keeping up. There's so many people here tonight. I'm not going to get to all the comments, so I apologize. I will thank you. I'm not going to apologize. I will thank you for being patient with me because you guys are just commenting your asses off, and I appreciate it. But I'm going to jump to the bottom. All right, what's up, ASV? Good to see you, brother. Let's see. CTRAVND. Motivation is the kickstart, and discipline is what. Yes, absolutely. At least being blunt is the truth we need. Yeah, and like I said, you know, there's people for everybody. There's people that can deliver my message with a lot more warmth and kind of heart and passion. You know, I wouldn't want to start a business on the West Coast because, like, if you look at some of the studies, and I would, I'm not opposed to the West Coast, but like the West Coast is way more passion driven versus like where I'm from, it's power driven. Like it's you better come correct. You better have some authority when you put some bass in your voice if you're going to do business out here. You know, and I lead with power. I do have passion or whatever, but power and trust has always been more my speed. Joe Star, what's up, G? Squally, the link is in the video description. 30days.brianchambers.com. What's up, iFlames? Casual Camo says it's called Mastery by Robert Moore. Uh-oh. I've heard of that book. I don't know if I've read it or not. I've read a lot of books. I don't remember all the ones I've read. Virginia, in a way, I can see that with the West Coast and being more passionate. Yeah, and that's not an absolute, it's not a truism, but it's definitely, you know, it's, I think it's definitely more, like even when I spend time, visiting's nice, and I had a friend that's from Philly who lived in San Diego for some time, and he's like, dude, you'll love it for about 6 months, and then the lack of ambition and drive that people have is gonna drive you up a freaking wall. And I was like, yeah, like I don't know how I'd make friends out there, cause everyone's just chilling, man. Bikinis in the beach, dude. Woo! Like, all right. Like I was there in early February. There's people in bikinis because it's 78 degrees. No, no, I know it's you, brother. It's good to see you, man. I'm trying to pull up something real quick while I'm talking to all you wonderful humans. All right, let's go to the dashboard. All right, people are starting to pick up their shirts, yo. Get your "We Are Stronger Than I" shirt. So you, because what I want you guys to do on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, whichever one you guys are doing it on, post your daily reflection video on the actions wearing this shirt. Because what I want to happen is people ask, yo, what's that shirt about? Not so I can sell a billion shirts, although that would be cool too. That would buy a lot of diapers for my child that refuses to potty train. But it's more because I want to get the word out about what we're doing. I want to use you guys as the marketing to help other people change their lives. And then you guys get to be a part of the mission, not just a consumer. Like I always tell you guys, do not just be a consumer in the world, be a producer. Right, all right. Casual Camel says different ways and come to the same conclusion. I've literally watched you explain the same thing over and over, different ways, and come to the same conclusion. It's actually impressive. Or I'm just really simple minded. I don't know. Simple minded is not the right term. I'm just really basic. You know, I don't have a lot of opinions, beliefs, or principles. I keep it as simple as I can keep it. Irie Jedi. Does that mean you're a Jamaican Jedi? Says, I'm in Orange County, just north of San Diego. I don't connect with how people are, and I'm from here. Oh, that's wonderful, man. Well, people keep asking you the same question. Yeah, yeah. Well, honestly, that's why I started this 30-day challenge. Because every so often I'll go through, like, I used to do this when I was more active when people used to actually watch me on YouTube till I pissed off my entire audience because I refused to acquiesce to the please keep making the same video over and over again. Like, no, I'm not gonna do it. You guys go figure it out. Um, but when I used to get a lot more attention and comments, I'd go through and see what are the themes of all the questions people are asking me. And when you do that long enough, you really start to realize, like I said in the 30-day challenge video, it's 6 basic questions. How do you make more money? You know, how do I get in better shape? That was Michelle's question. It's always the same. It's like, I'm lonely. How do I build relationships and not suck at that? And how do I find my life's purpose? Some people call it passion. I think passion is built, not found. And I think passion is built by doing a lot of things that you're not necessarily passionate at, but you start to get passion with I think it's wiser and more valuable to be passionate with impacts than it is to be passionate with work, right? Like you could say I was passionate about writing, singing, and rapping songs, right? If you saw me singing cadence with my sons the other day, singing army cadence, you could tell I got some pipes on me, right? Um, but I never was so passionate about the music itself that I had to get married to it. And that's where I think people get into a lot of trouble, especially when a laborer minded person tries to become an entrepreneur, which is really, when you boil that down, they're not trying to be an entrepreneur. They're trying to create their own job because they don't like the person they're working for or like the work they're doing. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong. It's called a freelancer, right? I freelance all the time. And a lot of really, really successful entrepreneurs will tell you, like Seth Godin, he's like, I've been an entrepreneur. I prefer being a freelancer. It's more fun, all right? Because I don't have to manage all these people and all this other stuff that's going on. Anyway, um, people talk about passion, passion, passion. It's like because you've been to all these dumbass seminars where they're like, you just find your passion, girl, and you be you, live your truth, and all these other empty, ridiculous platitudes, right? And it's like, it's just common sense. There's no such thing as common sense. Common sense means we all have to have common experience. We don't. We weren't raised in the same families, born in the same households, right? I'm a soldier. Some of you aren't. You aren't soldiers. Some of us are. Right? There's no such thing as common sense. It's just dumb shit we pass around and make books about to sell to people because they're never actually going to do anything with their life. They're just going to get the dopamine rush from reading about doing shit with their life. Which is why I say, take courses, sure, buy my courses, but at some point enough's enough. And that's why it's like so many of my courses are predicated on here's all the shit you need to know, but here's the stuff you need to go do. Go do things, right? But it's how do I find my passion? I don't believe you do. I think you create passion for impact through things that you do that you end up either enjoying or not enjoying. I was not passionate about commercial real estate, but I was really good at it because I had a purpose, which was to have a positive impact um, on the people, one, that I was protecting, because as the COO, security fell under my purview. And part of the reason why I was hired to do that job was not my business acumen. I had business acumen that I carried over from the military, but I didn't have like the Wall Street corporate business acumen yet. I learned it there, but I was good at keeping people safe, and they wanted someone because the project, the real estate project, was a known national landmark and a terrorist target. So that's how you get a job as a COO in a commercial real estate firm when you can't even spell real estate. And I actually asked the bosses that when they hired me. It's like, I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I don't know jack about real estate, right? Because they were like, "What are your questions?" Because we're ready to hire you. It's like, and I'm fresh out of the military. It's like, I think this is great. Sounds like it's a lot of fun. My office overlooks the capital of DC. I've never had anything that cool. I used to work in a broom closet as a middle officer at a big organization. You know, but it was all right. Just to be real, I don't know anything about real estate, and that did not come up in this interview. And so I'm concerned. Like, I don't want y'all to hire me and then be like, "Oh, you don't know real estate? Oh, rats! We got." Like, I want to be able to keep this job. And the vice president, my boss and mentor and friend, that woman is the best boss I've ever worked for in my entire life. Uh, she just looked at me and she says, "I can teach you commercial real estate. I've been doing this for 25 years. I need someone that has your skill set to come in here and get busy." I said, "Done. If you'll teach me, I'll do my part. That's all we need. I need congressmen and women not to get blown the fuck up. Can you handle that?" "Oh, yeah. No problem. Done." So that's the game. But then, the other questions are, okay, if I don't know my purpose, how do I find it? Right? And then I feel stuck or I feel lost. Guess what? Everybody feels lost. The people who win are the ones who can be comfortable in feeling lost. There's nobody that's out there winning that doesn't feel some sense of, I wonder if I'm doing this right. The difference between the really successful entrepreneur and the laborer that gets stuck in a job they don't like is the entrepreneur is willing to just be wrong, to make a decision that's not the end of the world, not knowing if they're right, being lost, and being comfortable in being lost. And just taking what you believe to be is the next right action and then adjusting if it's not right. You know, I've had my team working on a project that Laughing Truth showed us how to do. And, they're asking me a lot of questions. And I'm like, that's great. And a lot of this I'm going to show you a lot of the stuff. And a lot of it's going to be revealed to you in the execution. Like, I have one of my teammates working on a project right now uh, that we were making some adjustments to the way we've done things in the past. And I said, "Send me your metrics for these things." And he sent it. I said, "I'm going to show you with math how to know if you're doing it right with the math. Because right now we don't know exactly if the way we're approaching, like the philosophy and the principle of what he's doing, because I'm helping him build a business for himself so he can sustain his life without having to be employed. Right. And he's a really young dude. And so I gave him the principle is solid. It works. But the execution has to be experimented with on the different types of people that he's connecting with. Right? So I was like, don't try to have it figured out. Execute, and then let's get some data that we can take as feedback, and then we make the necessary adjustments based upon what we find is working. It's the same thing with social media. I tell people all the time, I don't know what works. Post shit. You'll find out. Right? When you make 10 videos, find the one that has the most attention. Not just views, but like engagement is a huge one. Find the one that has the most shares. Find the one that has the most like thoughtful comments, not the comments like, "Hey, you sound like The Rock." No, 17 people don't say that to me every day. And I'm flattered. It doesn't bother me, but it's just like, was that your takeaway from today's talk? And what I realized too is people that grew up on the internet think on the internet. Like they type out the way I blurt out things that I'm thinking, they type it out. And it's foreign to me because I grew up at a time where there were no smartphones. You know, as a kid, there was no such thing. We had car phones. But it comes down to everybody feels lost. But the people who win are the ones that are comfortable. An NFL football coach doesn't go into the Super Bowl knowing what the other team's going to do. He's lost. He's got a game plan for what he thinks they might do. But then, like just like in war, the war often goes very differently than it does on the sand table when you're moving all the little toy tanks around. It goes very differently in real life. So you have to make the necessary adjustments. Right. And then, the last one is I want to make a positive impact. That's like the spiritual part of living, right? I want to have a positive impact on people's lives, you know, but I don't know how. Where do I start? Right. So, yeah, I answer the same questions all the time because all of us have the same six questions in or some variation, but every question is just those six things. And you can tie that to Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Tony Robbins' the four basic human needs of life or the six basic human needs, right? What I just spouted off to you is kind of my version of both of those things, but it's all it is. All right, let's see. What are the YouTube family talking about here? Oh, iFlame's got his T-shirt. My guy. Who else got their T-shirts? We're stronger than I, yo. See the trademark down there? That's mine. Let's get after it, man. The good old bag phones. Nigel Murillo says, no love for the Air Force in your shirts, Cal. Yeah, I got Air Force in there. What are you talking about? Keep looking. I didn't leave Air Force out. In fact, I even did Coast Guard. Like, damn. Yeah, of course I got the Air Force. Just keep looking. They're in there. Oh, and everybody needs to get, I didn't wear it on the stream. I am going to wear it maybe next time. The shirt that just says read bitches. Everybody's got to get one of those and do. Everyone get a read bitches t-shirt right now on this call. If you love me, and this isn't about the money, this is about doing a really cool thing. If you love me, please, everybody on this call, I don't know how much it costs, whatever. I don't even know what my cut of these t-shirts is. I don't care. Everybody get a We're Stronger Than I shirt for the 30-day challenge, but everybody get a Read Bitches t-shirt. And please do a video on TikTok, Instagram, or wherever you do videos wearing that shirt. Just so people can ask you, yo, what is that about? It's this dude who thinks humans haven't evolved as fast as they should have because no one taught us how to think. We still behave like emotional automatons. So he thinks reading books is going to change that. But he's also kind of offensive. So he put the word bitches in it. Let's see. New Jersey Diesel says, yeah, it is seeing it now. How do I do that? Oh, yeah, for the t-shirts for TikTok. Sorry, guys. Again, I forgot to copy it. I sometimes suck at internet. You wouldn't believe I'm a computer scientist, dude, with how sometimes technologically impaired I am. So for my TikTok fam, I'm going to give you the link to the t-shirt shop. On YouTube, the link's in the description of the video. But it's https://swag.bryantchambers.com. And yes, you do have to do the HTTPS. I have tested it. It has to be done because it's some weird secure website where they sell the t-shirts at that won't let you link to it from something else. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Cotton LeBlanc. What up, man? Yo, I'm going to get this shirt by tomorrow so I can wear it. Excellent. Get after it, Tyler. You guys are awesome. Yeah, get your shirts. Get your shirts. I couldn't wait because these came literally today. I was like, I can't wait to take a shower. So I can wear it. I didn't take a shower today until right before I came on the stream because I worked out. I did work with my kids. I had a, book to get through. And what else? I had to do laundry today, of all things. That was my, like, if you guys read the book, The One Thing, my one thing today was laundry. All right, Queen Irish is back. Got the. All right, so by a show of eyes, just type the word I in the comment section. Who is currently in the 30-day challenge? And if you're listening to me talk and you're like, I don't know if I'm in it, you're not in it. So, right. So here's what I want. If you're in the 30-day challenge right now, YouTube, TikTok, write yes. If you don't know, which means you're not, write no. I want to know who all here I need to yell at. Casual Camo, JJ's in there. Cosplay, yep. Cody Shaw, Queen's in there. Cosplay's in there, yes, yes. Sabrina, Cody, Contravend. All right. Queen's in there. New Jersey Diesel says, I can't find the site. Okay, so the people saying no, here is the site. It's 30 days dot Bryant, if you're my old quarterback, he used to call me Bryant because he thought it made me sound gay. 30days.brianchambers.com. For everybody that said no, go get that squared away. iFlames is in there. Squally's in there. Tyler Brown's in there. Broken Suba says yes times 2. Caitlin says yes, day 1. Awesome. Okay. So the people that said no on TikTok, I just put the link there for you. Go get joined up. For the people on YouTube that haven't joined up, just the link is in the description. It's 30days.brianchambers.com. Now, next question. How many of you who are in the program also requested access to the private Facebook group? Type yes or no, because now I want to know who else I need to yell at. And I know 3 of you don't use Facebook. You don't have to give me the speech about how the aliens are controlling everybody's brain on Facebook. I got it. It's okay. If you believe that Facebook is a breach of your security, that's fine. I'd say you probably don't understand how the internet works. And that if you think you are secure anywhere on the internet, good luck. Virginia Rio says yes, yes, yes. Okay. So Cody Shaw says no. Cody Shaw, get in the Facebook. What are you doing? It's the 30-day challenge. It's the Change Your Life Challenge. Hashtag Change Your Life Challenge. Now, I think this will be the last question. How many of you have not just done the assignments, but have been making TikTok videos the way I asked you to? So once a day, just your reflection on what you did that day. How many of you have started making the TikTok videos? Last I checked, there was a couple of you, and I commented on your videos. So, and you did your video using the hashtag Change Your Life Challenge. All right, we want to blow that hashtag all the way up. Tyler says, I'm already in, so I didn't know that part. You didn't know what part? New Jersey Diesel says, got it. Virginia Rio says, no, not yet. Okay. Remember, you got 24 hours to get your stuff done, right? I usually make my TikTok, I usually do my challenge, like, it's not the first thing I do in the morning because I always work out first, but sometimes I'll do it during my, like, I'll listen to the video during my workout. So my wife and I both went through day 2 today together, and then we talked about it because I had a hard time making a video. I was like, what do I talk about? I was like, it was more, how do I talk about this and make it interesting enough for people on TikTok to stop and watch it? It wasn't that I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about. I just didn't know how to headline it in a way that TikTok, the attention span deprived people on TikTok would actually stop and watch it. Squally says, I'm not on TikTok. You need to get on TikTok, man. Humble Roots Collection says, starting tomorrow. Why are you starting tomorrow? Start now. What you mean starting tomorrow? Ain't no tomorrow, man. An asteroid might hit the planet tonight, and that's a wrap. You really want to have an asteroid hit the planet and you're waiting to join? Come on, man, get in there. There is no tomorrow. Now, if your house is on fire and that's like, I don't know why you're on YouTube watching me, then I'll give you a pass. But if you're one of those people like, yeah, I'm going to get to it tomorrow. No, now. I can't stand I'm going to get to it tomorrow. I don't mind the people. People are fine. But I'm gonna like, cause my family's like that. Oh, I'm gonna start working out tomorrow. Nope. You march your happy ass up to the gym tonight. But it's 7 o'clock. Yes, and it's still open until 10, I believe. You march your happy ass up there to the gym and get busy. It doesn't start tomorrow. It starts now. But like I said, if you're, he said, okay, boss man. But I'm serious, man. Like it's, I say it jokingly, but at the same time, it's that's the problem with a lot of y'all's success is everything. Everybody has a dream and it starts tomorrow. No, now, now the dream starts, not tomorrow. Queen says, "Is Benjamin Franklin put it down, put off till tomorrow what you can get done?" Yeah. New Jersey Diesel says, I joined, so does this make today day one? Yes. So the program starts, the 30 days starts whenever you start. So think of it like a marathon, right? There's people at the front of the line, there's people at the back, and you just, you finish the race when you finish it. But there's no, once we get through the 30 days, we'll still have a lot to discuss because some people, and I encourage everyone to do it, but I know how human nature works. Some people are going to accept the challenge to keep going, and then they're going to get invited to a separate private Facebook group where you're going to meet a whole other echelon of people that I took through this challenge for months at a time. I think we went through the challenge for like a year together. We were doing once a month calls for anywhere from 3 to 6 hours where we were just drilling and grilling and go, 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 helping people. So you're going to get into the group where those people are getting after it and killing it. And we got life coaches and podcast hosts. We got entertainers, comedians. We got, people running businesses in there. It's pretty cool. I'm rarely on Facebook, but sometimes I hop on. Well, now you got a reason to hop on. And it's not, the cool thing is, like, I don't use Facebook either, by the way, guys. So for those of you like, I don't really use Facebook, neither do I. I do exactly zero reading things on Facebook. What I do is I have a fan page where I produce content for people to consume. But more importantly, I have these groups where I engage with all. So the group is actually focused on a purpose, not just idle chit. Because you guys know, I like few things less than small talk. And look at what my cat did today. No, you and your cat are not that interesting. I don't want to watch that. But in the group, we're actually talking about stuff that has a purpose for your life. So that makes it a little bit more like, I get it. Facebook's a pain in the ass. The app is it's way too cumbersome to use. But in the groups, it's a good way for us to communicate and stay connected and keep each other accountable for getting after it. All right, got to go. Thanks, Brian. Glad to have joined, and everyone else, thank you for helping with yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Cody Shaw says, wife in the hospital. Is she okay? Michael Olivero says, Cody Shaw, I'm praying for you. Like, is she in the hospital and it's serious, or is she in the hospital? What's happening? Oh, pregnant. Cool, cool. Your wife's pregnant. Yeah, okay. I get that. You get a pass. Like, stuff like that, sure. Now, the soldiers in the room would be in the hospital with your wife going through the video. Like, the people like me, when I talk about having a really high motor, I would be at the hot. Like, dude, I took books to the. I read every Amazon book they had on the YouTube algorithm when my last son was born. I sat in the hospital with my wife when we weren't actually doing the birthing part, and I read every single Amazon YouTube algorithm book that they had a book on. Got through all of them, and I took that knowledge and then turned it into stuff I was teaching YouTubers on. So not everybody can be that hardcore, but I'm telling that to you not to say, oh, look how awesome I am. I'm telling you to say, hey, yeah, I'd be willing to say your wife being pregnant is an excuse, but does it have to be? Right? When you are driven and obsessed, you will find a way to get things done in the midst of all those challenges. Right? So you decide. CTR says, I do not use Facebook, but yeah, that's fine. You don't have to. I mean, you'll miss out on a lot of the accountability and people keeping everything together. Um, But like I said, most of the people that tell me they don't use Facebook, it's usually because of some moral security thing. And I'm like, well, if you're on the internet, I got some bad news for you. I could actually show some of you guys the websites in China and Russia where all your shit is. Like, it's public. You could find your social security number and everything. You do not need to be on Facebook for that. Believe me. I have to get going. Goodbye and see you later. See you later, man. Cody Shaw says she laughs at me when I'm working out in the hospital. Yeah, see, there you go. Just tell her, babe, I'm on a mission. Broken Suba says, nope, sorry, I'm not a creator bee. What are you sorry about? What do you mean you're not a creator? What are you talking about? Humble says, after I watch you writing down my thoughts and feels, and then onto my TikTok. Good, good. Do it, man. And remember, hashtag change your life challenge on. And the reason why I want you guys to use the hashtag is because I want to be able to find you, right? Like if I'm not following you, I'm not going to see it. So use the hashtag because I will go check the hashtag and then I'll be able to follow you guys too. That's a way I can remember to follow everybody. All right. Let's see. Petros says, hey, Brian, I've been watching you for 2 years, I think. You have given me some inspiration, and I want to share with you that I'm starting writing on my first book on this semester. Cool, man. If you have a smart, yeah, if you have a smartphone, they got you. Yeah, you don't even need a smartphone, bruh. If you have ever been on the internet ever, they got you, bruh. It's just keep your stuff secure. That's what I tell people. Is keep everything as secure. Like keep your bank, like have 9 logins, and you have to solve the Hellraiser puzzle. Have all that stuff because I've had my bank cleaned out. I don't know how many times, but it's been more than once. And every time it's happened, they're like, we're sorry. Here's your money back, and here's some more security to keep everything straight. I've gotten phone calls from my bank like, hey, we saw you just bought lunch in D.C. Did you then go buy tires in New Mexico? 15 minutes later, it's like, nope, the lunch was me. The tires in New Mexico, not me. Harry Walker says, hey, man, you're amazingly inspiring. Thanks for being so amazing. It really helps me sometimes. Oh, thanks, Harry. Are you in our 30-day challenge, man? Taklas Oliman says, what did you about those two leashed dogs? What did I? You didn't finish your sentence, man. I don't know. Like, what did I do? Nothing. I waited for the two ladies to walk by and made sure they had their dogs under control. Uh, um, I waited for her to get her dogs under control, and then we walked past her. She kind of walked up the hill away from us and called the dogs over to her. And once she had them under control, we just kept walking, and then judged her and talked about her for the next 15 minutes. Queen says that's why I post a TikTok every day. Casual Camo says here we go again. Anti Tony. Who's Anti Tony Robbins? Wait. Who is anti Tony Robbins? Who said that? Did I miss something somebody said about Tony Robbins? Freda says thank you for today, Wolverine. Good night. Good night. I find it more enjoyable to post a video every day. I can dig that. Yeah, I don't know what the anti Tony Robbins thing is. I don't know what that was about. I was making a emotionless joke being anti. Oh, I still don't know what you mean, but I'll take your word for it. Suba says, I don't make vids, not my type of social sharing. What is your type of social sharing? Pocket Thoughts. What up, lady? I was just talking about you. About how you made me laugh with the 2-minute warning on the website. iFlame says, all my stuff is encrypted, as it should be, because of your low sympathy score. I'm still aimless on what to talk about for day two. Um, just talk about anything because day two is a lot of information, right? So just name one thing you learned about yourself that you didn't know before. That's important, right? Having self awareness is a huge part of success. So, what's one thing you learned by listening to the video or taking the test that you didn't know before you did that, right? Or something like for me, my video was about, and I only had a minute to say it, so I couldn't get it all out. What I was really trying to communicate to the audience was I've always been averse to simple minded narcissistic people. And it goes back to my childhood, but it also is tied to my military career being a combatant, where simple minded people usually end up getting themselves or someone else hurt or worse. And so I have like a biological reaction to people being wildly wrapped up in their emotions and simple minded. Like when I listen to my family scream about Trump on text messages for an entire Saturday, it's like, we get it, guys. You hate the dude. Like, nobody is saying you can't hate him. It's fine. But do we all have to get the group text because you're watching the news, right? Like, just that type of. And it's very, all of the arguments are all very just not thought out, not looking at the whole picture, just being angry because of biases that we have, right? So that type of thinking has always put me off. But then when you compound that, and this takes it out of the context of my family, because most of them are not narcissistic, or they're appropriately narcissistic, as we all are. But when you have someone that's highly, highly simple minded and then really, really narcissistic, that's a dangerous combination because they're so wrapped up in their own world and their own bubble, and their filter is the way they think the world is supposed to be. But they also don't think very deeply about things. They could be highly intelligent, which makes them even worse to deal with because they think because they're smart that they're right. And it's like, no, you didn't think this through. Like I did the video yesterday. The wise man once told me to never argue another person, never argue against somebody's point that you disagree with until you can take their side and argue their side better than they could, right? So when a lot of kind of fly by night theologians will challenge stuff that I say, not realizing that I've studied the Bible. Not like at the level of a pastor would go through seminary. Obviously, all my pastor friends are more versed than me, but I also have studied very specific things about the Bible that aren't just the words that are there, but the context and things that are going on in history around those times. Right? So a lot of times people will come at me not thinking through, you know, I'm not just saying this flippantly. This has been 20 years of thought and research put into this thing that I said that you probably misunderstood. But then, I get accused of something like, he who adds words to the Bible is going to burn in hell forever. Like, okay, we could talk about that, I guess. But anyway, what I was trying to express was in the last year of me going through treatments, or 2 years of going through treatment and working, like I met with my doctor yesterday, and just understanding how averse I am to simple-minded narcissists. Like I didn't realize the rabbit hole went as deep as it does. That I am biologically repulsed by that type of person because I associate that with a loss of life or a loss of limb. Because I've seen people like that do dumb stuff and like get a soldier hurt or something like that. And just the discovery that I have to be very mindful because especially on the internet, it's either very young people or no, let's just say what it is because the age is irrelevant. It's very, oftentimes, it's very immature people taking a very simple-minded approach to things that are way more complicated than they want to accept, and then being very vocal about their, like, how it affects their world from a very kind of selfish perspective versus looking at the whole picture, right? So, like, I gave a talk in one of these live streams about this whole new socialistic movement. And I said, a lot of conservatives will start quoting a lot of what historians say, which I think is accurate, that socialism is probably not a good idea. Federally mandated socialism, and just because capitalism isn't perfect and it has a lot of problems doesn't mean it's still not better than the bullshit that it evolved out of, like communism, right? But to just outright dismiss this notion that there needs to be some socialistic behaviors in any nation, which the US has a lot of socialistic things that even the government runs, right? But to just dismiss socialism or communism as this evil thing, it's like, well, no, wait a minute. If you go far enough back in human history, our genes that we're carrying today remember 40,000 years ago when socialism made a hell of a lot of sense, because if I went out and hunted and I come from a small tribe and I bring back a yak that I killed, sharing the meat with everybody in my tribe makes us all stronger and helps us to get out and hunt more. And now I've recruited people to come help me hunt through being sharing of the thing that I put in the labor to acquire. Right? But even that in and of itself is kind of capitalistic, because I'm socially sharing with the belief that I am going to get some payback on the back end of it. Right? So to just dismiss this idea of what, like, how socialistic behavior works at a human level, forget about a national government. It's just too simple-minded an approach to just dismiss it. Like, think about why people are drawn to more socialistic behaviors, right? Especially people that may have not had opportunities that others have, right? And so what you do is you find a way to encourage socialistic behavior. And like, my whole neighborhood is very socialistic for our tribe. Like, I was on the road the other day doing a workout, and one of my SWAT team brother was out there with his wife and his kids. We were walking, we were talking, and she was joking. She's like, I don't worry about this. She's like, even if this thing goes really bad, our neighborhood's going to be awesome. She's like, between my husband and you and these Marines and all these other people we have in our neighborhood, they're all, you know, just, let's just say, bringing a fight to our neighborhood's going to end poorly for the person bringing the fight. Because you have a lot of trained assassins in my neighborhood. And so, uh, and we have nice things. Like, this is a very lucrative area in America. Like, you're just not going to come in here and think you go get us up off our stuff. But our neighborhood, like when I went to the hospital, my neighbor kept my kids so my wife could come with me to the hospital when I landed in the hospital. It was, now that's, I guess, over a year ago, when I was ambulanced out because I was having some pretty serious challenges with my health because of all the things that have been weighing on me for so long. And they thought I was at risk for a stroke, and they wanted to not let that happen. So, um, my neighbors immediately stepped up and took care of my kids without having to be asked. That is in and of itself the neighbor giving of their resources and time to help somebody in the village. There's no capitalism involved in that. He gets no profit other than maybe some reciprocal blessing down the road, right? Which is kind of the premise, the very sympathetic nature of socialistic or, communistic behavior. But it's in our genes to be like that. I told you guys about my friend, the neighbor who passed away, the Army vet. When he passed away, everyone in the neighborhood took turns making the wife and the kids meals. Right, that's in us. And so, yeah, there's a way we can encourage that type of level that type of involvement at a grassroots level without having to let an inefficient organism like the federal government try to mandate everybody playing nice in the sandbox. It just would not be effective. But it took me 6 minutes to flesh out that whole thought, whereas most people would just make a 15-second TikTok video saying, "Oh, you stupid liberals, socialism's evil." End. Like, it's like, okay. So anyway, what I learned in the video, what I was trying to say in the video was, I have to be very careful with that tendency that I have to be put off by those type of folks, because I'm in a place where I'm reaching millions of people every month. And inevitably, I'm going to run into those types of people, and I have to know how to be resourceful and productive in a way that doesn't tear a human down, that may just be acting in a way that they don't know any better because no one's ever taught them any better, right? So, now obviously you can't put all that into a TikTok video, but that was my experience today. That was the thing that I gleaned from going through the exercises. So hopefully that gives you some fuel. And my allergies make my nose itch. Like, if you guys ever wonder why you just see me going nuts, my wife gave me a thing to get the whiteheads off my nose. Maybe that'll help. Hate it, man. Your thoughts on bioenergetic breathing. I don't know what that is. Does it go by a name that's for stupid people like me that don't know big words like that? Let's see. Had to move to YouTube since my phone battery is really low. This is hey cosplay. What's up? Suba says if I post anything, it's Facebook and always geared towards my friends' interests. Usually mental awareness, funny, uplifting me. Okay. Yeah, man, you don't have to make videos you don't want to. It's not mandatory. Pocket Thought says, I know that type, narcissistic and highly self-absorbed by their unearthly intelligence. They know everything, and there's no cure since they won't accept anyone else's advice. Yeah, they're just those are the type of people I usually say to cut off because they're a pain in the ass. They're not worth the energy to try to get them to see something. Petro says, Brian, socialism, social welfare, and distribution. Remember that distribution of wealth is not necessarily socialism. Socialism, yeah. So, that's why I made the distinction between like a federally, nationally mandated system of government and more socialistic, like the tendencies in humans that led to what you're talking about are in our DNA. Is the point that I'm making? Yeah. So, but that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. Good night from Greece. Word up, man. P.S. A friend I have used to be narcissistic, and he has changed dramatically by the passing years. He is much different than I knew him a few years ago. He once said he received help from a psychologist. Excellent, man. Pocket Thought says taking care of one another should not be outsourced to the government. Agreed. And that's what I mean. Like when people say they want the government to be socialist, going back to what Petros is saying, they don't realize that they're saying what Petros is saying. They think it's no, we should all take care of each other. It's like, yes, we should. And you do not want the most inefficient organism on the planet, i.e., any nation's government, forget about America, anybody, you don't want them in charge of it. That's like these are the people that spend $200,000 for toilets. Is that it's not who you want. It's like the whole argument with universal health care, right? That should be a human right. Yes, everyone should have access to health. And I don't know that getting a very inefficient government that can't usually make decisions, except in the more like aggressive parts of the government, like the military and stuff. Like, I don't think those are the ones you want managing your health care. Because you'll mess around and go in for a tooth extraction and be getting chemotherapy from some dude who, like, literally, the government ran healthcare. You'd show up to get a wisdom tooth pulled, and it would be the guy's off day. Like, he works extra hours so he can, oh, no, it's my Monday off. I can't be there to pull that tooth. Mm. You have to come back, fill out this form. Like, is that's what you want? Woo! I think everybody that wants the government to give health care to everybody should have to go work for the government for 10 years. And then let me know. Are these the folks you want running that shit? I don't know. Petro says, from Greek means Peter. Yes, it does. The rock. Actually means rock. Petra. Nigel says, I reluctantly got the Read Bitches shirt. I don't like getting shirts I wouldn't wear to church. I would totally wear that shirt to church, but I'm an asshole. Don't let me get you in trouble. Oh, Nigel, you just blessed my heart, man. I would wear that shirt, and I would wear it to like the most Baptist hyper you should supposed to wear a shirt and the ladies got to wear hats. I just walk in with my Read Bitches t-shirt just to see if they let me in, just to see, because there's churches where I know I could wear that, but they would just think it's funny. Like one of my boys is a pastor, and if I walked into his church, I would shut the church service down with everybody laughing, and then they'd finally get back to business. But I would wear it to the most inappropriate, because that's me, man. I like to bring balance to things. That's kind of my MO, right? It's like if you're so dogmatic and religious about how a thing's supposed to be, it's kind of like people can call it devil's advocate, but I think it's what it is it's an evolutionary stable strategy. Like you don't ever want things to stay in the extreme, right? Just like I am hardcore about the way I train, I am also hardcore about the way I rest. Does that make sense? Like I can't just be training 14 hours a day and then never rest, right? Because I'd just be hurting myself. I like to bring balance to people's stuff. But that's hilarious. He ordered the shirt. You guys are a blessing, man. Oh God, that's awesome, man. But yeah, everybody get your shirts, man, before it's too late. I mean, I don't know why it would be too late, but cool. A bunch of people are ordering shirts. Look at y'all getting after it. That's dope. Awesome. That's good stuff, man. Whole bunch of people ordering shirts. Awesome. Let's go back to make sure I'm not. I've been YouTubing here. I want to make sure I don't leave TikTok behind. Tiana says, "Hi, my friend. I'm laundering and walking dogs." That sounds like you're laundering money. Like, are you taking the drug money to like a hair salon? Don't say you're laundering. It sounds like you're doing criminal things. But that's cool. It's good to see you, Tiana. Hey, boy. Hey, much respect. All right, Carlitos. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Cody Shaw says, I just got one of the shirts. Okay, so which one did you? In the comments, tell me, did you guys get the "We Are Stronger Than I"? Because I need everybody in the 30-day challenge to wear these on your TikTok videos. Okay, you too, YouTube. YouTube fam should definitely have these shirts because you guys go all the way back to when my media company was making entertainment. That's where I started saying this at the end of my game reviews. That's where this whole phrase got started. Was on my old YouTube channel. So all the YouTube, in fact, I made this shirt because of you guys. People on YouTube asked me, like, dude, you need to make a shirt with that on it. I wasn't even thinking about making shirts till people asked me to. But yeah, man. Cosplay says officially deceased. No, I had to figure out what people mean in comments sometimes because people will put a skull on some of my posts. I'm like, oh, that means they're laughing themselves to death. I'm slow, man. CTR says, peace, brother. Oh, I missed what he said. Gotta run. Signed up for the challenge. We'll order a shirt tonight. Excellent, man. Enjoy yourself. Cody Shaw says, I don't know. Don't know you can't. Do I have the one you have on? What? BJ says, we have the same name. Awesome. Got the Marine shirt and the We Are Stronger Than I. Excellent, man. What's Broken Suba talking about? How are we see Suba always like Suba is my favorite dude on Twitch, man, because he brings the thunder. He says, "How are we on the clearly his dick is on fire shirt?" Thanks for reminding me. I need to write myself a note. Here we go. Let me go to my notes that I need to email myself. Shouts out to the Laughing Truth for teaching me this system. Because I've just been keeping it on notebooks. I was like, damn, this guy's a genius. Make clearly his dick is on fire shirt. Got it. Queen Irish says, I will order one once I get my paycheck. Awesome. Yeah, the t-shirt would really be awesome for you, Queen, in your line of work, because I think it would inspire people. Nigel says, I got both. Clearly his dick is on fire. What did I say that? I say some of the craziest stuff. Oh, guys. So I hosted a Easter get together for my family on Zoom Easter Sunday. And so I found this picture. And so you just tell me if it's funny or not, because I thought it was hilarious. But one person on the stream was not pleased with their, won't name names, their son. But so I found this picture of Jesus coming out of the tomb. And the caption just says, I'm back, motherfuckers. And so that was my picture on Zoom. for the Easter meeting. And so I can see my brothers when they saw it pop up on the screen. Both all of them were like, "Oh God, this dude is retarded. Why do we let him outside unmedicated?" And then my mom was like, "What is this? This is wrong. Who's Brian? Turn that off." I'm not turning it off. Like, everybody was bawling out. I could see my brothers the minute it came up on their screen, like this dude. Especially my oldest or my older middle. So I have three brothers, right? My older middle brother. He and I, like, he's where I get the bulk of my sense of humor from because we're both just buffoon. Like, I can't even say on TikTok some of the stuff he and I have done in public because if I use the language, like, let me just put it to you this way: if you go to Macaroni Grill, they put the paper, it's just like a long sheet of paper, like at the hospital where you lay on the bed and it's just paper they lay down to keep you from touching the furniture. They lay this long piece of paper down on the table. My whole family's there. But then they bring crayons for the kids. I don't think I had kids at that point, but I think my younger middle brother, who's older than me, the next older brother, did. But we took the crayons, me and Steve, my older middle brother, and we started drawing pictures. That's where I'm going to leave the story. If I was just talking on YouTube, I could get away with it, but TikTok, I'll get a warning. But needless to say, uh, inside of the jokes we drew was racism. It was comedy, and it was just like we were drawing because he and I were drawing pictures of this scene that was happening. All we could think was whoever has to clean up this table. And we took pictures. I need to get him to send me the pictures so I can post them on Facebook. Although I don't know, it's kind of off brand for me. People think I'm more wholesome than I am. But we were just thinking, whoever has to clean this table is going to be like, what in the literal F happened at this dinner? That these guys are drawing pimps and all this stuff. Then one of my aunts passed away a couple years ago. And I think this was after my dad passed away. She passed away. Because I remember my dad wasn't there. Or he might have still been alive, but he couldn't come. Yeah, that's what it was. He was alive, but moving him around was hard because my dad's brother was there asking about him. But so my brother, they did an open casket. I'm like, and Steve comes in, and we're sitting together, and some of the things that are happening at this church service were just laughable. It was like, dude, why? And he starts cracking jokes. We're like, dude, you're gonna get both of us thrown out of a family funeral. We can't be laughing at our aunt's funeral. And then we're going up to the casket. I'm like, dude, shut up. I can't laugh when we get up to the casket. Like, we're literally in tears laughing at a funeral. That's how inappropriate my brother and I are. But, you know, that's what you get when you bring the Chambers boys. But anyway, I thought it was hilarious. Mom was not pleased. When Steve saw it, I saw his face. Just, oh man, yeah. How do I join the Facebook again? So when you join the challenge, it's going to take you to a website. That website has the link to the Facebook group. I'm reading Fiorella's comment. Yo, that's funny. Pocket Thought says it would take forever to get shipped. Yeah, totally understand. Next time I'm in Sweden, I'll bring you one. I Flame says hell yes. B Humble Roots Collection says that's my kind of humor. I would probably done the same thing. Yeah, like, and I was there to actually. At first, my mother had asked me to do like a small sermon for Easter, which I was willing to do, but we ended up not doing it. We did a communion thing for my kids. My wife's like, let's do communion for the kids. You know, they've never done it you know, at this age. I was like, yeah, I'll run it. So, I told the story of Jesus and what communion meant. I gave my own kind of spin on it and why it was important for tribes to have rituals like that. Why it's not just a religious thing that we're doing to obey God. That's kind of how Christianity gets pitched sometimes. But no, cultures do these rituals obediently because of what it means to the culture. That's why when I wear shirts like this and I tell you guys to get one of the shirts, it's like, yeah, this is the language of our tribe, and it's important that we don't forget the truth that's on the shirt, right? That's what's more important than you buying one of the shirts. It's us remembering why we're here, right? But mom didn't think it was funny. Everybody else did. Uh, Context for Fire Dick. You were talking about how you don't get angry when people whiz by on the highway anymore. Ah, yes, the angry road rage people. Yeah. When your life slows down, when you're like not in a rush to get to a 9 to 5 that you're probably late for and you don't have that life anymore, it's your life starts to slow down a lot, like the way it should, right? In fact, even when I was still doing that kind of stuff, I had already mentally just kind of tapped into I don't need to get there. I don't need to drive 90 miles an hour so I can leave 20 minutes early. It's fine. Everybody calm down. What's up, Ashane? Feels so much better to type more than 50. I know. TikTok's got to. Matter of fact, I should make a note to email my pro my my creator manager at TikTok and say, "Hey, is there any chance you guys are changing this? Because it really does need to change." Like I'm totally fine with only getting 150 characters in the description of my video because this isn't a reading platform. But if we're doing a live stream where we're talking, there's no reason why someone can't write a couple paragraphs. All right. Suba says, now that your swag shop is up and running, you need to start making the inside jokes from Twitch. I need, yeah, Heathens, Whore of Babylon. I need to get the Whore of Babylon shirt done. Uh, I don't know if you go back as far. Were you there for the Whore of Babylon stream when I lost it playing The Witcher 3? Because even Terrence was there. He's like, damn, dude, who is the Whore of Babylon? Like, me, I'm angry because video games make me angry. Yeah, the Heathens one for sure needs to be a T-shirt. Yeah, so Suba, I need you to eat. This is what I need from you, Suba. I need you to send me an email, just listing all of the inside jokes, because I won't remember them off the top of my head. Like I remember Heathens, I remember Horror, just all the ones you can remember. Just email me that, and I'll start making shirts about it. And I think you have my email, but it's contact@bryantchambers.com. Which, by the way, like I said earlier, anybody's interested in one-on-one coaching with me, it's very time consuming and it's very expensive. Let me just say that up front, right? But if you want it and you want someone who's going to be in the trenches with you to help you get results personally, I don't do it often. I don't take a lot of people ever, just because of how much time it takes and how much of a commitment it is for both of us. But there are some of you that if I hear your story and I'm interested in helping you do whatever it is you're doing in your life, I'll make it available to you. Just remember, it's a minimum of 8 hours. I definitely go over 8 hours if you think if what you bring to me, I think warrants more than 8 hours of time, then I'll make that call. But minimum, we're going to spend 8 hours together, not in one day. That usually takes 2 months to get through 8 hours, because I like to do the sessions and then give you a week to complete all the stuff I'll have you do, and then come back and then we keep going. Um, but yeah, it's a minimum of 8 hours, which is about 2 months of work. And then from there, we figure out, okay, do we want to keep going? Do you want to keep me on board to help you do other things? Blah, blah, blah. But that is, that's what it is. If you're interested, email me, contact Brian Chambers. We can talk about it. Yeah, the struggle gets real. All right, what else do we got from the TikTok? Madeline or Nick, what up, G? Where can we get the merch? Oh yeah, the merch. What up? There goes the merch, man. There it is. Sorry, I'm slow on the comments because there's so many people here tonight. Oh, thanks for the TikTok love, homie. Is my brother single? No, none of my brothers are single. Actually, my oldest brother is single, but he is how do you say it? I'm trying to think. I could just say it the way we say it in the 1990s before everybody got really sensitive. My oldest brother was born severely mentally retarded, like at health risk, mentally retarded. And when he was born, my pops was in the military, and at that time they didn't have special needs care the way that they do now. And so he has been, I do believe he's single, but he has lived in a community of other people like him with medical professionals pretty much his whole life. But my other two brothers are married. Man, no matter what, I still respect you because I'm the same way with my brothers. Because mind you, I'm the only girl out of six, yeah. So our family's kind of split. It's two ladies and four dudes. Yeah, inappropriate jokes are how we live, man. But it's also like psychologically, people who have been through stuff like my dad and my brothers and me in combat, dark humor is actually a coping mechanism. I don't know if you guys all know. Like if you're attracted to dark humor, it's probably because you've seen some darkness, and it's one of the ways the brain can accept hardship is by joking about it. And so for people like my mom, who certainly endured hardship coming up, but not to the tune of, you know, dead bodies laying around her and stuff like that. Um, the darker humor is kind of lost, and she comes from an era where things were a little bit more appropriate. you know, she's, Richard Pryor was racy back in her day. In fact, I think Richard Pryor's older than she is, though. But whatever. Nick says, "Is your brother single?" Our word is fine if it's not being used as an insult. I use it to insult things. I still use that word. And I get that this generation of people, all the words you're not allowed to say anymore, and I tell them that's fine. You can just be offended. I use it to, actually, I use the word appropriately. Like if I say the thing somebody is doing is retarded, like that's an action that's not going to get the results you're looking for. Like that's kind of the jam. So I don't use it to like insult a human. Like I can say someone was being retarded, like they were. It's not an insult; it's just an observation of the reality. But I would never like call a retard, like walk up to a retarded person, and be like, "Hey, retard!" Rah! Like I mean, that's just psychopathic. Like, it's not. But for people to say, "Oh, you can't say that word anymore because it's mean," I'm not always nice. Sometimes I'm mean. I always joke about the lady that told me I'm not allowed to call myself a Native American because all the white people got together and changed the word we're supposed to use. Like, well, the people from my tribe didn't come let me know that changed. Like, I don't know why a 23-year-old white lady is telling me this because none of my tribe's brothers and sisters came and said, "Hey, Brian, listen, we have changed the name." Didn't happen. Just like I didn't get the memo, well, I wasn't born with all the iterations of what we now call African Americans. But I was alive when it changed from black to African American. I was like, when did the committee get together to make this decision without the rest of us? Right? And it was just political correct bullshit. Like it's African American, okay? It's not black. Well, it was Negro like a week ago. What happened? Why do you keep changing it on us? Like you made the shit up anyway. Who cares? Kangaroo. That's what race are you? Kangaroo. You know? Like in recent human history, this idea of race was created so that the people in power could maintain power. Like the Catholic Church used to go around saying, those brown people not too good. They're not that great. I'm telling you. Better watch out for them. They're all cannibals. They'll never believe in Jesus, but I keep a couple of them as bodyguards because they're really skilled at what they do. Like, Jesus Christ, these guys are awesome. You know, that's really where the construct of race came from, because it's just tribal. It's retarded. Oh, there's that word again. It's retarded tribalism, is what race is. Especially when you're talking about racism, it's just retarded tribalism. It's their tribe is stronger than us, and they're going to take all our food. Let's call them evil. All right, and then they're still going to kill you and take all your food. Tiana says, "Dark, inappropriate humor is how I cope." Yeah, no doubt. Nick B, what size you wearing for the hoodie? I haven't bought a hoodie yet, but the shirt is extra large for me. It's a little big on me. It's probably bigger than what I would. But my fear is always, if I ever go large on a shirt, it's just gonna be, I'm gonna look like a child. Like the difference between extra large and large is usually so significant. Especially as a guy that used to wear triple extra large when I was 275 pounds and much more swole than I am now. Uh, I'm thinking extra, like I mostly get extra large stuff these days. And I'll tell you, man, I think you and I are about the same height. I think you may be about an inch taller than me. And this extra large is long as hell, man. Like I mean, it's a baseball shirt, so it's supposed to be that untucked long stuff. But it definitely comes down to like the middle of my, when I'm seated, it comes down to the middle of my quads. So I think an extra large will do you right, man. On the hoodies, I don't know yet because I haven't ordered my hoodie yet. But I imagine all my hoodies that you guys see me wearing around town, the Redskins one's a double X because that was when I was a lot thicker. Both when I was swole from lifting weights and swole from not being healthy. Uh, and then like the Nike one, the Adidas one, those are all extra larges. Fiorella says, "Oh shit, I'm a kangaroo now." Yeah, I identify as a kangaroo. We all get to identify stuff these days, right? Kangaroo, it's the one I'm picking because they're cool, man. They can box. They can keep the baby in a little bag. You know, if I could put my 4-year-old in a pouch, he would never get out of here. Just stop messing up my Star Wars figures and sit your ass in the pouch, and I might feed you today. Okay, right, sweet, thanks. Yeah, no worries, man. I'm a nurse, so dark. Yeah, of course. The amount of carnage that you see as a nurse. Yeah, every time I've been in the hospital, I love hanging out with the nurses. Like, oh, like especially when my first son, it's either my first or my second son. I think it was my first son was born. So all my babies are C-sections because I drop hits and my wife is a pretty small lady. Uh, so there was no pushing anything. You know, I'm dropping freaking 40-inch TVs in people. That's just, or in her, not people. I'm not going around impregnating lots of people. But so C-section, they put up this big tarp and the husband has to stay behind it and the wife is halfway drugged out and she's behind it. And so they're going to work on her, cutting her open, blah blah blah. And I'm just sitting and my job is to comfort her. So I'm using my Barry White voice and just walking like, "Babe, you're doing great. Don't worry about a thing. I love you. I'm here. You're going to be just fine." The nurses all got smiles, the doctors got smiles on their face. Everything's going fine. I decide halfway through I want to see what's happening, and the nurses, no, they run and stop me. Like, you can't come around this side. Every husband that does it faints. I was like, listen, I was in combat. Promise you, whatever's on the other side of this tarp, I've seen worse. I've probably done worse. Let's get. They're like, okay, you're coming around here at your own risk. I was like, it's cool. So I came over. I was like, oh, that's how y'all do it. So the stomach's way up here, and her waist is here. Like, this is. It's almost like changing the, like putting oil in the car. Like the hood's up, and you just pull the baby out of there. It's good to go. And I went back to comforting her, and then one of the nurses was like, dude, can I get a recording of your voice? I would love to go to sleep to that. It's like, you are a comforting ass dude. I was like, well, that's because I'm trying to help her have a baby. Like, I'm typically very loud and ridiculous. But yeah, I love hanging out with the nurses, man. They know what to do. Cool folks. And I can only imagine. I remember one of my boys in college got blue balls and had to have the thing where they put the 70-inch long Q-tip down your joint. It's like, dude, you're gonna get talked about for the rest of your life at this hospital. Oh man, it's awesome. Because of course I had to take him to the hospital because that's how it goes. 6Vin6Cent6 says that I'm an iguana. Sweet. Clamshell. Oh, the stories I could tell. I believe it. Totally believe it. Let's see. Furella says, I drop hits. I do. It's just the truth. I'm claiming that to the four winds. Yes, when someone says African American to sound less offensive, just sounds low key more offensive because yeah, it's just like guys, whatever. Because I got asked that in the professional world, like, do you prefer black or African American? I was like, I prefer Brian or B. Like, that's what I prefer. I don't. Like, do you plan on going around calling me by my race? They're like, no, it's just we have people that work here that if you call them black, I'm just telling you, they get offended. They want to be called African American. I said, well, let me put it to you like this. I didn't know this at the time, so I'm going to say what I know now. But I said a version of I am British, I am Egyptian, we think. uh, I am Native American, which means I am probably Western to Central Asian. Like the only thing I don't know that I am is Latino, which we just haven't tested. I haven't sent my sperm or it's spit. Sorry, it's not sperm. I haven't sent my DNA to the cloning farm, the 23 clones, where they're going to make all the clones that are going to run the Matrix. I haven't done that yet because that didn't exist back then. That was kind of a relatively new thing. It's like I'm all the races, so pick one. I don't get hung up on this race shit. Like it's become a mental barrier for so many people for so long that I'd love to see a world where we don't talk about this shit anymore. Because make no mistake, guys, racism is just the newest form of discrimination. It's just the newest form of dumbass tribalism. And it will go away because we're going to get so mixed in a lot of different cultures where what do you call me? Do you call me black? Most people do. But a lot of people think I'm Latino, right? What do you call me that's actually appropriate based on the composition of my race? Right? My wife is just as much British as she is African, right? And she's Irish. So it's she black? One drop of black blood, brother makes me a brother. Like, okay, fine, let's go with that. But make no mistake, if I live long enough, I'll see the point where race doesn't really hold water anymore. But make no mistake, without about another million years of evolution, if we're even evolving anymore and not just mutating, we're going to find another way to discriminate. And my prediction is the way we're going to discriminate in 50 years is not by race, but it's going to be an economic status thing where the people of high affluence are going to be able to get organs 3D printed, new hearts, new everything. They're going to live to be 700. It's going to be like altered carbon where the Meths or the Methuselah people live 700 years because technology can just keep them alive, right? And that's where a lot of the religious dilemma comes. Like the philosophy in that show is really good. It's everything else that's too long and boring. But that's gonna happen, and the way you're gonna discriminate in the future is not race. It's gonna be a kid, one of the rich kids at football practice, like, oh, you don't have the Pantalon 6000s in your Achilles that make you run 47 miles an hour. Like, what are you, poor? What are you, a natty? That'll be the derogatory term for poor people, natties. Like you have a natural body, you don't have the breast implants that make them look exactly how perfect breasts are supposed to look because technology. Like that's coming. It really is, and we'll just find like racism is the cute shit of today, where we have to because you live in a world where most people live in fear, and I don't mean like hiding in their house. I mean they believe that we live in this world where everything's scarce and I need to protect mine against all odds. And so racism is just an outgrowth of people who for real want to establish their goodness by tearing down other people's not as goodness. I see it all the time in every walk of life, whether it's business or it's social media. Oh, the reason why she's popular is fill in the blank with whatever sexual thing this idiot is about to say about this woman. Right? The reason why she's popular is because she shows her ass in every video. Well, go get an ass. There's plenty of women and gay dudes that would love to look at your ass implanted ass. Go get an ass. You probably want to go to Brazil to do that. I heard that's where they do the best ass implants. Get down there, oil it up, get some ass implants, wear a thong, and you start doing Instagram with your ass out. You know what I mean? So it's everyone just, like, and that's what the point I make about the Catholic Church a lot, where them shitting on brown people wasn't because they, like, the people in charge thought that brown people were evil. It was, we can control a populace of people by feeding them bullshit about other folks, right? And then we can then through propaganda get them to enslave these people and get them to treat her like less than humans, which drives our economy. Same shit happened in America. But in 50 to 100 years, it'll be the people who can't afford upgrades to their body that are out, working at the grocery store or whatever is going to be the future, where robots don't take over. And all that's just it's me being hyperbolic and silly, and it's like predicting the future, but it's really not. It's just human nature hasn't changed that much in the last 50,000 years. We're still very fearful, fear-driven animals that are more inclined, the courageous ones of us, make ourselves awesome by building ourselves up and taking a lot of other people with us. The cowards, which is 98% of the planet, make themselves look good by saying how bad the other people look in comparison to them. That's a coward's way of living. Like, you don't want to actually do any work to be good. It's the person who says, if the monster's chasing me, I only got to be faster than I don't have to be faster than the monster. I just have to be faster than the guy running next to me. And that's where racism comes from. It's not an outgrowth of, oh, we just hate Africans. Because if anything, the people in power knew these Africans are fucking awesome. They're big, first of all. They're strong as shit. I can show you some of the books I read about, Catholic leaders hiring Africans as, enslaved bodyguards because they're 6 feet tall. And all these Italians are walking around like 5'3" and shit. And it's like, Omar walks in and he's 6 feet tall and looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's like, well, yeah, him. Let's see, how can we supplant these people for our own gain? The same way that society, when we became civilized, did the same thing to women. Like, women were, if I understand the history right, I might be wrong. A historian would have to correct me, and I'm willing to be corrected. But the way I understand it from, my limited ignorance, is women were basically packing mules who were also mating stations, And then eventually, people started to figure out, oh, women are really good at a lot of shit. We can build on that to build civilization. But it gave birth to all this competition and feminism and all this shit you see now, where it's like, if we would just work together instead of trying to compete with one another, and that competition is always born out of fear. Like, I'm not competing with any of you. Why do I help so many people? People ask me that. Why do you help so many people? Because I'm not in competition. When you're an apex predator, you're not worrying about people. When you're an apex predator, first of all, you're not afraid of competition. Secondly, when you understand that the world is full of frickin' abundance, you're not competing. There's plenty. Like, I have 100,000 plus followers on TikTok. Why? I talk about boring ass philosophy, history, and life lessons. It's like a boring ass black Mr. Rogers. Like, but there's at least 100 some odd thousand people who are interested in that. If I can do that, certainly some of you interesting mofos could do the same thing. I don't need to compete. But if I cooperate, then I build trust and rapport with groups of people where we can affect change, positive change, at a global level. That's why I say when I'm reaching 1 billion people, it's not going to be me that I exactly go touch a billion individuals and help them. Some of you guys are going to go help 1 million people, and that's going to get added to my number. Right? So that's the game, y'all. Racism's just retarded tribalism. That's all it is. And it was created. We didn't just become racist. Think about it. How did we get to a point in America where 30% of the Southern population could be? And I ask this question because I ask a lot of questions. I'm crazily curious. Slavery was brutal and inhumane. I know the percentages of psychopaths on Earth. It's 1% of the population. So, at most, was that 30 million? No, what is that, 80 million people could be psychopaths, or it's either 80 million or 8. Jesus, let me just do the freaking math. I can't do math in my head. So if we're talking about 7.5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so 7.5 billion, right? Times 0.01. So yeah, we're looking at 75 million psychopaths on the planet. That's what it takes to beat a human you have to be emotionally bereft to be able to do what was done to slaves. So in my brain of brains, I started to think, how could so many people own slaves in the South, knowing that it was inhumane? So I started to do some research. And what I landed on, I didn't go that deep. I just looked up some stuff, I think, on Wikipedia and a couple different websites. But what I found was, in the worst states for slavery, it was only 30% of the population owned slaves at worst. That means 70% of the population didn't own slaves. And me knowing that only 1% of the population can be psychopathic enough to harm other human beings, whether they're brown or not, it's unlikely that that 70% all didn't own slaves because they were too poor to. Right? I'll buy that a percentage of that 70% didn't own slaves just because they couldn't afford it, and they totally would have. But to treat a human being like a dog, right? A person that can look at you with eyes. It's one of two things had to be true. You're either a psychopath, which the people, the creators of it, would have been psychopaths. Very capitalistic people who are willing to exploit other human beings for their own personal gain. Right? And that's why we have this capitalism's evil. No, there's just a lot of evil, fucked up people in capitalism. Capitalism's fine. It's just like having a king. If the king is fucked up, the kingdom's fucked up. The king is awesome. Everybody's having a ball. You know, long live King Rudolph or whatever his name is. Right? So then I started to ask, okay, only 30% of the people are in this game. So we have to assume part of the 70% that don't have slaves did it because they couldn't afford it. But most of them didn't own slaves probably because they thought this is bullshit. Right? This isn't a good idea. But let's go back to the 30%. I'm willing to bet you that even in the 30%, they weren't all psychopaths, but they were conditioned to behave in a certain way. It's the same way the military conditions people like me to kill. By making the person that you have to kill less than human. We sing songs about it in the Army, about what we do. It's to condition the brain that when you are faced with an enemy, you have to be able to see them as less than a human. Why? Because if you are not a psychopath, our genetic makeup makes it almost impossible for us to kill or harm deeply another human being. It goes against our genes to want to do that. And they learned this in World War II with tons of psychological research. That from World War II to Vietnam, the rate of soldiers being able to kill went up astronomically because of the psychological engineering that went on after World War II. And so now you see all these stories of PTSD and all these people who struggle after war. It's because you created a Frankenstein. But unlike every other culture in human history, America's one of the only ones that doesn't have a ritual to turn that shit, it's a spiritual ritual, to turn that shit off. And so the soldier is conditioned never to harm others, only in the defense of the defenseless. So they're never going to be like a ticking time bomb that hurts humans. If that happens, it's correlated with other things. But they don't know how to turn off the fucking monster that we were turned into. And that's what a lot of my content for veterans is about. I just had a video on TikTok today that TikTok wouldn't publish. They wouldn't run it. I don't know what I said. That didn't make the cut. But TikTok said, fuck you, we're not running this. And it was a really empowering video about PTSD. TikTok was like, F you, dude, not running this one. I don't know why. I don't have a good answer. So I took it down. But going back to the 30%, you don't have to be a psychopath if the psychopaths can condition you to believe that these brown people are bad. Racism was created. It's not part of our human makeup. What is part of our human makeup is this is our tribe, and that tribe over there is a threat because we're all hunting on the same hunting grounds and there's only so much food here, right? And that was true when we didn't have mass transit and railroads and roads, right? That's why in third world countries you still see the people living below the poverty line are still very savage. It's because technology was not introduced to help those people build civilization. And so they're still very tribal. We still have the remnants of that tribalism running around in our blood, but it's so, like we're comfortable enough with Netflix and YouTube to where it's like, well, I'm not going to shoot my neighbor today. That would probably go bad for me. That probably wouldn't look too good for my 401k, right? But you still live with the fear that it's always competition, not realizing that, guys, you can go to Outback Steakhouse right now and eat one meal that's more calories than someone 30,000 years ago ate in 2 weeks. Just one entree. So it's what I see coming is human nature, which is people are still, and this is why I want to change I want to get a billion people to start thinking like we're not in scarcity anymore. We have abundance. There's more than I watch farmers on TikTok right now have to throw food away. They're like, dude, I got enough food to feed everybody. The distribution chain is broken, not our ability to produce. I can't get this food to anybody in any economical way that doesn't destroy my farm. Right? There's some interesting stuff on TikTok. You guys should check it out. It's not just teenage people doing horrible dances. Right? So I don't know. Just thoughts. Squally says, you got videos about PTSD? Yeah, I have several, man. I would enjoy videos where you talk about things the way you talk about racism. So, Squally, you just need every video that says the Brian Chambers Movement podcast. That's what they are. Just go to my YouTube channel, look up my podcast. I talk about this stuff all the time. Fiorella says Mr. Rogers was the man. Rogan Zuba says, that's who you remind me of. An evil Mr. Rogers. Demolition Man. That's dope. Tune in next time when B reveals the three seashells method for. Oh, man, I've missed you, Suba. I miss our Twitch streams together, man. I got to get back to it. I was actually thinking about Twitch streaming tonight and just playing some Super Nintendo. I'm not. It's late now. I got to go to bed. Hearing about your military experience is very insightful for me to be a little more understanding towards veterans or active service people. Correction, to be more educated. Yeah, no, I got you. That's cool. Amen. Switch. Put it on here. Word. I'm gonna look at the yeah, definitely, and just go listen to my podcast. The stuff on YouTube is like 12 or 13 episodes behind. The podcast is actually up to date. My man Six says to your thoughts. Not to mention very good questions to answer to your thoughts. Political parties are very tribalistic. Yeah, they're built on tribalism. Like I think it was Will Durant in the Lessons of History said politics is just marshaled. It's organized hatred. These politicians know they have to get you to hate the other side to keep you active in the process of keeping them in office. Like the Republicans have to scare you to death about these liberal hippies that want to bring socialism so that you'll go out and vote. The liberal hippies have to scare them to death about the billionaires who are, raping people in the streets with their economics. Like it's like, guys, it's all bullshit. All of it. I like to hear your stories so I kind of have an idea on what I'm signing up for. Yo, it's about time to bring forth force, the rhythm and the rhyme. I'm going to get mine, so get yours. It's about that time. Bring forth the rhythm and the rhyme. Rhythm is a dancer. All right, guys, I got to get up out of here. I haven't eaten dinner. I didn't realize I've been talking for 7 hours. But I got to go. Everybody that wants to be in the 30-day challenge, which should be all of you, are you in there? YouTube, the 30-day challenge, link in my description. Get your We're Stronger Than I t-shirt so you can put it in your TikTok videos or your Facebook posts, whatever you're doing. All right? TikTok, the where you get your shirts is here. Oh, dang it. TikTok is a whore sometimes, man. So yeah, make sure everybody's in the 30-day challenge. It's called the Change Your Life Challenge. You give me 30 days. The promise is I'm going to change your life, and it's free. Some people ask me, does this cost anything? Doesn't cost anything, but you focusing every day and doing what you're supposed to do. I want to see sweat coming out your pores, Marky Mark. You guys are taking it back. I like listening to your podcast when I'm painting. Awesome. Horrible dance. Hopefully, I'm not one of. And, the dances are fine. If people are like my wife watches some of it, this is cool. There are some dancers on TikTok that are freaking amazing. There's this like break dance crew that I watched. This one of the, I can't remember his name. He's like a million. I followed him because his stuff was so dope. Anyway, go to the swag store, guys. Get your We're Stronger Than I shirt. Get your Read Bitches shirt. Matter of fact, oh, you can't. I was gonna say use the hashtag Read Bitches on TikTok, but I think I got that hashtag banned because it has a cuss word in it. I tried, and TikTok was like, nope, we're not showing this video to anyone because you said bitches. That's offensive. Oh, but Charlie D'Amelio calling me a nigger on camera is not offensive? Okay. And I know she didn't call me that, TikTok fans, calm down. But she lip syncs to the, like, how is that less offensive than me having a, anyway, whatever. The internet's stupid. Demetrio says, thanks for the time, Brian from Africa. Much love, homie. Much love to my brothers and sisters out in Africa. I think it's amazing that I reach people in Africa, that I have clearly said something that's interesting enough for y'all to watch. I'm grateful for that. All right, so please make sure, guys, 30 days, 30 days, Bryant Chambers, BRYANT Chambers.com. Get into the 30-day challenge, the Change Your Life Challenge. You give me 30 days of consistent, disciplined action. The promise is your life is going to be changed. All right, so get in there. Let's make that happen together. Those of you who are in the program, keep going. When you get to the end of 30 days, just know, spoiler alert, there is more. The program is actually 70 days. All right, that's why when you're in the Facebook group, you see it called the 69 Pillars of Success. Right, it started at 69, and I added a 70th video after the fact, so it's actually 70 now. I just never changed the branding. But definitely get in there, stick with it, stay consistent, do what the assignments say, don't take shortcuts, because the whole purpose of this program is not to get you to just learn a whole bunch of new stuff that you never use. It's to apply it and start taking action in your life immediately. All right, I love you guys much. Remember that we are stronger than I, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.